There we go. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Obviously, the first thing to push is the Build King agenda, but we can talk about other series as well and just enjoy some nice times before the end of the year. I don't know if I'm going to stream another one after this. What's the 28th? I might stream tomorrow or Wednesday, but I don't know if I'm going to stream on the 31st. Maybe. I might. But for now, I wanted to stream at least today, because after today, obviously, I'm going to be talking a little about Fairy Tail, because we're not going to have, outside of the leaks for stuff, we don't really have chapters until after next week, so we won't get it until after the new year. So outside of the early chapters that have come out online, and then Fairy Tail tomorrow, that's it for the rest of the year. So obviously what I'm going to be most hyped for, and I'm pretty sure they're going to end the year with something pretty good. So we'll see. I'm really hoping for like a Gray transformation or like a cool Lucy chapter. I don't know. Yeah, for like some form of buff. But yeah, let me get to the comments, see what people are talking about, see what's going on over here, and then just kind of chit chat with everyone's going. What's going on, Gene or Eve, as he's revealed his real name to me. How's it going, Sheridan Kane? Yeah, how's it going, Eve? Should I just keep going to Gene or Eve? It feels weird. It's like sometimes when you say like a Japanese character's name, and then you realize that that's their last name, and then eventually they start going by the first name. It's just like an odd transition. If you want me to go with Eve, then what? Yeah. I'll do whatever is most comfortable. So I know you brought that up beforehand, so I didn't know if you wanted people to stop calling you Gene or whatever. What's up, Irene? In July, I was wondering when the next stream was going to be. Yeah, I was going to stream yesterday, but then I had been procrastinating doing some chores. I ended up doing those instead. But I really wanted to stream today because, like I said, after today, obviously for the rest of the week, like anything is going to be overwhelmed with me talking about the new Fairy Tail chapter tomorrow. So I wanted to stream today. Ship Lavilla and Shura? That'd be a really odd combination. Like, are you trying to build like some weird like Joker and Harley Quinn thing? I don't really know what the combination is there. Like some evil VTuber that's going over with this weird psycho rock star prince dude. I'm super confused of how that interaction would go. It's a possibility that we haven't. I don't think anybody thinks of. So this is one of the weirder ships that I've possibly heard in a while. But I don't know if it's outside of the realm of possibilities. I don't even know how Lobili would get there. Anyone here from Josuke streams? I think it's just you. Oh, no, Carrot's here. Oh no, Carrot. Dang it. Hello, Carrot. How's it going? Rex, how was your Christmas? I was good. It's been pretty good for me. I was just kind of at home, enjoying myself. Everything's on kind of still like travel restrictions, so I'm mostly just here, so I'm just chilling and hoping a good for chapter tomorrow. Like, either I want it to be like a really good focused chapter, like I said, because characters haven't gotten. They're in Ellen tier, so they should have like a default increase in their power. Like we already saw, Lucy doesn't need her keys physically on her to summon her spirits anymore, and that's like a pretty big boost. So. And we already had the enemy characters kind of set up like how strong they were. So I'm really hoping we just get to see their boosts if it's not like a centered fight. At least one of the characters. And I'm still really hoping for a new Gray power-up. So this is perfect. I just need to see it. I need like a new form. Gray hasn't gotten like a good power-up in forever. Then I could stop like dealing with people making jokes at him like that. I know the people thought the whole conversation I was talking about how it was ridiculous that people that there were people that thought Mirror Jane is stronger than Gray, and that was a really hilarious day. So I thought that was pretty funny, the aftermath on that. But yeah, let me get some more of the comments. Music is this? Oh, it's the back. It's the theme song to Karazhan in World of Warcraft. I always really liked the spooky piano music, like it's like a haunted mansion in the game. So it's perfect to that, and I just really like that for kind of like a stream. It just kind of sounds like very entertainingly in the concept, like I said, like a haunted mansion. Except it's also a wizard mansion, so that just makes it even cooler. It's almost New Year's Eve. Today, it's going to feel weird because last year, I remember it was New Year's, and then I had to go back to work the next day because of like where it lined up and like how our whole schedule works. This time it really worked out because I don't have to go to work to for another week. Because what day is the first? Is it a Friday? I think they didn't want us to come back for like one day, and then half of the people would be off that day anyway, so it'd be kind of pointless. And then a lot of people, I imagine, would just take the rest off. So it would be kind of pointless to have that day just existing. Nobody would want to be there. I'm not tired. I'm just kind of comfortable. I'm like pretty lean back in my chair. I just had realized that I hadn't been drinking like enough water, so I get dry throat. So I've been drinking water. Like, I meant to stream like a half hour ago, but I was like, I really need to drink some water, otherwise I'm gonna start coughing midstream. Yeah, I saw the Carrot post. Hello, Carrot. How's it going? How would you rate Eden Zero this year overall? I thought Eden Zero was really good. Let me see where was Eden Zero at the start of the year. I gotta start there, because I'm thinking of recent events, but I don't remember where it was at the very beginning this year. Let me one second. Just need to find somewhere that lists the dates. Eden Zero. Where was January? Where was the series at in January? Let me see. That is a good question. I hadn't thought about that yet. The winds that bind. So yeah, the Drac and Joe, like the better parts of the Drac and Joe arc, when we got to like the cool, time travel fights and stuff. The ship. I love the scene of the Eden Zero going into the Belial. That was probably one of my favorite scenes of the whole arc. Just because visually that was really cool, and Mishima made it. Visually, it's a really cool idea, and Mishima made it very, very visually cool. How he had like the glass and like mid-explosion, and that was just such a cool entrance to do. Because it's a very shonen entrance, but to do it with their spaceship just made it so much more badass. So Eden Zero this year I thought was really, really good, because it started out very strong in the later half of the arc. Like, got the whole dark, despairing portion out of the way, but it's like, no, that's not going to be that kind of arc. But Shiki, actually thinking back to it, like the newest chapter, it really kind of works, because Shiki thinking into that whole despair portion is what helped him get into overdrive in the first place. So I'm wondering if the worse of a life he lives, like the more powerful he's going to get into like the gravity controller. Like, it's a really weird concept if so. But just that whole fight, like getting his first portion of his overdrive that form, having the whole stuff with Ziggy, and then I think this arc has started out really good too. So I think Eden Zero was definitely like in a great year. Not like a perfect year, probably definitely in like an upper 8s to 9s. I'd say like a solid 9, definitely, just in how consistent it's been. I really like how it was, because if it was last year, actually last year was really good too, because last year was like the ending of the stuff with Valkyrie and stuff. Or Valkyrie, well, that's really more emotional, so that wasn't as good of an overall arc, because like those fights were kind of not as big, not as entertaining, but it was really got an emotional point. Shiki's fight was good, but I think that the fights with the Element 4 and stuff were way better. Even in the first rounds, they were way better. So yeah, I thought this was probably Eden Zero's best year so far, and a lot of people have been talking about Eden Zero for sure, a lot more. I've seen a lot more people be active on Eden Zero, so I really like that. Luckily, I am not one of the people that kind of like is. I know there's a lot of like aggressive Eden Zero fans, but there's also a lot of there's a lot of Eden Zero fans who are aggressive towards Fairy Tail, and there's a lot of Fairy Tail fans that seem to be aggressive towards Eden Zero. I like both, so I don't really see the problem. I enjoy both of them. They're both different in a lot of in pretty much every story way. It's just in some kind of basic like concept. Like Mishima always wants like his main character to be really good friends with the main cast, but I always think that's like part of his thing of just like how well though he is at making a main cast, because he keeps them all very close. But they're all very different. Like when you really look at like the grand scope of Eden Zero, Fairy Tail, and Rave Master, they're all three very different stories. So let me get some in the comments. Yeah, I really thought Eden Zero was good this year. I was pretty happy. I'd say it's his best year. And next year it's getting an anime, so there's gonna be momentum is really good. So as long as the anime starts pretty good, like it doesn't need to be Kimetsu no Yaiba or Jujutsu Kaisen. I think it just needs to be like consistently looking good. I was gonna say have a good soundtrack, but I honestly think that that's gonna happen for sure. Because the guy who's doing the soundtrack, I believe, did like the Death Note soundtrack, and I really doubt they're gonna cut short on that. So it wouldn't make sense to have like a low budget and to have a guy that big. So I think that the soundtrack is gonna be great. Eden Zero is in a really good momentum for that too, because I think it's gonna be like, actually thinking about it, it could have like a really strong stride, kind of like Jujutsu Kaisen's having right now, because Jujutsu Kaisen is a really good anime, and it was ending out like the climax of this, the biggest arc in the series. So if we can kind of do that with Eden Zero in the way that like Poseidon Air and everything's going in the next couple months, because it's not coming out for 4 months, so Mishima could build into like a really good hype portion of that. So maybe like the later end season portions of like Eden Zero, maybe like 10 or 12, actually it'd probably be a little bit more than that, like 20 or something episodes in, have the climax of the Poseidon Arrow arc. That'd be a really like strong way to do it, as long as the anime is working well. You can kind of have that same effect. So fingers crossed on that. I'm really hoping that their anime does well. Yeah, I really appreciate you being here, Carrot. Can't believe Midnight died. Did Midnight die? No, he didn't. What are you talking about? I'm kind of confused in that one. I don't know if you're making a reference. Watch Lo Pachika get cursed and use Spirit Dive, one of the strongest characters in Black Clover. If she uses Spirit Dive, well, the thing is, like, she'll be powerful, but people like want to really kind of like be hard on Lola, but she's more of a support mage. Like, she is a support type wizard. She's like if Wendy never decided to take her offensive side, way more seriously. So put more like time into that. Like, it's not her fault. Like, she's a support person. She's capable of doing big things, but she seems like overall like her type of magic. It's like Mimosa. She is a support person, but just a really big support person. Read Build King. Jason is correct. Build King. I was talking to one of my friends. I just want to note this, because it is like the header for the stream, because I do think people should read Build King, but I was talking to a friend, because the thing I know about this mangaka is he's really good at action from Toriko. Regardless if you read Toriko or not, just know that like the dude is really good at making a battle scene. So, and I don't think him having Tonkatsu be super strong and fight with a hammer and us already have like a pretty good action scene in the first chapter. I think we just need a good fight in the series. Like, I think he's setting it up, and we just need like a good fight and people come to it, because it doesn't have more emphasis on the action yet. It's been more establishing the world building of the series, and I think a lot of people have noticed that, and the main character is very likable. That's one of the things I think is really good about the series. Like, Tonkatsu is a really likable character. He's like this little peace-loving dwarf, but he's super strong, and tries to like bully things into like being into like fixing them, or not like bully them, but like fight them into fixing them. But the way he talks to them, it's like he's beating up a bully or something. And I really want to see like eventually when he gets into dangerous things, because that was kind of the way that Toriko was at the start. Toriko was like this hunter, and he believed in like not wasting food and respecting animals. Like, he only killed what he ate. But then when it was like the part where he ran into the dude in the nitro, and he's like, I'm not gonna give you the honor of hunting you. I'm just gonna exterminate you. I think we also need a badass moment from Tonkatsu like that. I think maybe something like that, maybe at the end of the fight. Just a really good like 1.5 to 2 chapter fight, I think, is really what Build King needs to get its feet off the ground for some people. Because I think a lot of people have noticed its vibe. It has a very 90s style, because that was one of the things about Undead Unluck that like people didn't think Undead Unluck was gonna happen, but it has a very like old 90s style of just kind of like story and like way that like the series is just kind of toned that people really like. And that's one of the things people like about Black Clover, is Black Clover has a lot of that classic kind of style to it. It's trying to do like that way more core aspect of like the where like Shonen blossomed out of, but do it in their own style. And then you have a series that kind of like, Chainsaw Man that does everything its own kind of way in absolutely unpredictable ways. But I think people like Build King. I think people just need to get more of a chance. Legitimately, I think people will enjoy it. One of the things that is an easy sell, just very quick and easy, is that the main character, if you read it, has a very strong kind of similar vibe as like Kid Goku and like young Luffy. He has that very happy, nice, friendly, not the smartest guy, but he's very just powerful, and he only uses against bad people kind of thing. I like that about him. But his whole concept of building peace and that just the scope of the world that this manga is gonna like build into, I think is gonna be really worth it. So hopefully people can jump on that, and give it more of a chance. I know Quan is gonna read it. I've got a couple people recently to start it, and I think it just needs to be given more of a chance. So like I said, a good fight I think is what it really needs just to see some action. And that has been foreshadowed up, because they did say that in the castle there are monsters, and they're like D-class monsters. So hopefully Tonkaichi will get like a cool fight, like maybe get like a couple cool, like a general early shonen action. Like, you just think of like, oh, I gotta show off the main character's powers, like a couple bad guys who are really weak, and he's like one-shotting a couple low guys, and then maybe a medium difficulty guy, and then like a mid boss. And it's like he just has to like go all out and beat him. It's not like I have to overcome my limits kind of bad guy. Something like that I'm really hoping for in this general up and coming part, because they're gonna have to fix the house, and if there's monsters in it, Tonkaichi's gonna have to be the one to fight them off, because Rengai isn't a fighter, and as far as we know, Cork isn't a fighter, but Tonkaichi is, and luckily for them, the series is still in, early shonen character phase, so the main character one-shotting a bunch of low-tier monsters is understandable, but it's going to be cool to see it done in, like, this world style. And one of the things also I actually really want to emphasize on the series based off of the mangaka is he makes really cool monsters, and there is a grouping of people that really enjoy that about series. And one of the things I really liked about Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen is it has really cool monsters. So we have a couple things only so far with Bilski. We've only had like the trolls, but they're just kind of like a big dumb humanoid creature. They're not the same thing, but we have gotten some creatures shown, and I think just when we get to a couple like just scary creatures, I'm trying to think of what he's gonna do for like a castle monster. Think of just like, but like a pest. I'm trying to like you'd have like a big tentacle creature in like a umbrella rack or something. Just something really kind of spooky but fits the theme. I don't know, something just fun but badass at the same time is really just what I expect out of this guy. And I he's done it before. He actually did it last chapter when he showed the dragon. That was cool. I was super hyped. And one of the things, actually one more, I'm like the uncle from Jackie Chan's cartoon. Like, I always have one more thing. This is the last thing I just want to mention, because the people who have read Toriko, one of my friends is like a big Toriko fan. He loves Toriko. It's like one of his favorites. So like just that action food. Like I describe it to somebody as like if you mixed One Piece, Baki, and Pokemon, but then turned Pokemon, like fused the Pokemon aspect into Soma. And like Monster Hunter kind of style too. Like it's super shonen but mega action, and it's the food and monster concept is so intertwined. But he really loved that aspect of it. I guess it just super vibed with him. And the thing about the last chapter is it foreshadowed this dragon, and the dragon in it, for one, the dragon was really cool, and it made the lore of this castle like a 10 out of 10. Just in the concept behind it was so cool, being a dragon tooth skeleton, like it's a big dragon tooth like attached to the skeleton of this ancient dragon king, and then it was made by some unknown carpenter into being this Victorian vampire castle upside down on a cliffside. It's just really cool. But the dragon itself is it's kind of like how Mishima does it in his series, where he references something from one of his other works but does it in a different way. Kind of like Ethereon. But it's the Darius dragon, but instead of it being like more of a Western dragon, it's like a big serpent snake dragon. It's more of like an Eastern dragon. I thought that was, I guess it'd be more of a serpentine dragon because it didn't have Eastern dragon features outside of being snake-like. But it was really cool to see it just implemented, and I was really hyped. And my friend was, I told him to read the chapter because he liked Build King. He saw the whole things that we liked about Toriko, about its world building, and just how well that the dude creates like this, the large scale of the series itself. And he was enjoying that aspect, but he wasn't too like hyped about the series so far. He was kind of like, liking the main character, but not too excited. And I saw him get like reading the series, like he was posting as he was going, and it was really cool to see him like super hyped when it got to the Darius dragon. I was super hyped about that too, because it was, again, badass, world building, nostalgic. It was fun on so many levels, and I was really hyped for that. So definitely people should give it more of a read. But anyway, let me get more of this, the rest of the chat. Dragon Quest was great. I'll sleep on. I know. I want to watch Dragon Quest. I've been thinking about watching something, and I've been seeing more Dragon Quest on the timeline. Can't wait for Volume 13 comparison. That is true. I need to do that. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow morning because I need to do. I'm not going to do my Black Clover review until the official release. I've already said that before. I know it's going to drag down reviews because a lot of people are doing theirs already. I'm waiting till the officials, and then I'll do that tomorrow. Because otherwise I would do that or my Black Clover predictions, but it's not till next week. So I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do my comparison covers, and then I'll wait for the actual chapter review whenever the fan translation comes out. Because obviously the difference between Black Clover and Fairy Tail when it comes to that is Black Clover does have an official simultaneous release with the Japanese officials, whereas Fairy Tail only has the Japanese release and no simultaneous release officials. And I buy the Japanese ones already. I buy the Japanese issue and I buy the volume, so I'm fine with it. Oh, I see a super chat. I'm gonna read that. Hang on. I was gonna say 1 second. Let me make sure I mark where I was at in the chat, so I don't forget. But I just saw who it's from. I see it is from Quan. So let me see. Actually, I'm gonna scroll down. I gotta give Quan equal rights, but I'll give him extra attention. I'll ramble more into what Quan says when I see it. You can just call me Gene. Okay, Gene. I just didn't know if when you brought it up, I didn't know if you. Oh, there's the super chat. Ooh, I gotta read and see what Quan has to say. I'm hoping Quan has a good message and it's not a blank message, because it usually says something. I want to know what Quan has to say. Because what's funny is in a group chat, I've been arguing with Broku all day. Not all day, but for like 2 hours about Tonkatchi versus Rill. And it has been hilarious to me. I've loved it. It's been so much fun. It's funny because Rill, like Tonkatchi, I was thinking about, like, Tonkatchi doesn't have any speed feats, but because of Rill's personality, Tonkatchi can land a hit on him. And he has enough physical power in his hammer to beat Rill. Hang on, I gotta read Quan's message. It's going really fast. Oh, it just says Quan Credible has appeared. Good. I'm always looking forward to seeing Quan in the chat. I mentioned he doesn't chat as much in my comments, but I always feel like a lot of people are looming in comment section, but I just really like to talk in the chat, so it just is me being overactive in other people's chat. I try to be very self-aware. So I don't know if that's just the thing that's going on. But anyway, hello Quan, how's it going? I'm looking forward to your Build King stream. I'm hoping you see what I'm talking about when I say that Tonkatchi has very Kid Goku early Luffy vibes when you read it. I'm hoping you like it. But I do really hope for like an action chapter in the next one. Even if the next chapter it's just fighting like a couple low tier monsters, I want to see it. I just want to see a couple cool fights to really let this off, because that's just one of the things I think people are missing. I've got a couple people that know about world building interested, and people who just like the concept and the main character, but I need to get a couple action people, and that's what people need. And then they'll just really fall into this guy's style of series. This is how I imagine Toriko was at the very start. But Toriko actually had more action stuff like from the go. But I believe in Build King for sure. But anyway, let me get to more of these. I like how here it didn't make Elsie and Justice situation misunderstanding. Justice hating Elsie is understandable. Yeah, that's what I was telling Quan. So the thing about Quan is, I argued with Quan because he didn't like the concept of it, but he was looking at more. I managed to get out from him what I think the problem was. He was looking at more of like the idea of Kylo Ren and Rey just being a couple just cuz. But the thing about Elsie and Justice is they both tried to go for the kill. It seemed like they both still had. They had that kind of, they had good memories in their head of each other, but they both hated each other. And it was like a last-ditch effort on playing on those emotions, hoping the other one still had that for the other one. Because they both tried to go for the kill using that move. So they both still hate each other. It was more of like trying to just trick the other one. Like, in their brains, it's like, can I get the other one in this position using that memory and emotion? But they both still hate each other. I don't think it's going to go the same way of Urza and Jalal. It could in the long run, but off of this chapter, no. I'm kind of hoping Mishima does it kind of like almost a Romeo and Juliet, like kind of the way that they die at the very end. In reality, like the large scale. Because if they reconcile, I don't really know. You would have to have something kind of like Zagreed being the true villain behind the stuff with the elves. Also, I didn't even say thank you for the $10 super chat, Quan. I mentioned I completely glossed over that because I saw super chat and then I saw Quan before I even realized like it was the $10 one. So I didn't even think about the money. I just saw super chat. Okay, I want to make sure when I read this, and then I saw Quan. Oh, Quan's in the chat. How's it going? I got completely sidetracked by that. But anyway, yeah, I've been really wondering what Quan's take has been on this long chat I've been having with Broku in the comments or in the group chat. Oh, RT, Rill is a beast. The thing is, like I said, Rill versus Tonkatchi. If Rill is serious from the start, Rill wins. Because Tonkatchi doesn't really have many crazy feats. I mentioned this. The thing that I bring up Rill versus Tonkatchi is because it's funny that in reality, the match of you put Rill versus Tonkatchi, if Rill's not motivated, Tonkatchi can land the hit. Because Tonkatchi right now is just sheer brute force. He has a big hammer swing. He doesn't have like, his abilities and arsenal, worked out. He just started, but he has shown a tremendous amount of physical power from chapter 1. So him versus Rill, if Rill's not motivated, Rill's gonna be open to take that hit, and Tonkatchi can beat him. Serious Rill beats him, obviously, but a non-serious Rill can't take him. And I just think that was funny. Because it was on the day we were making fun of Rill. And what's extra funny is I like Rill. I think Rill's a good character. But I do like to get on some of the, the joke trains. Because he did get treated kind of poorly in this last chapter. Regardless of your opinion on Rill, you have to admit, he got to block an attack. And Vonica made fun of his magic. That was embarrassing. And not only that, it was in a chapter where Charlotte got to go off and show, like, everyone's shown, like, all these things. And Rill was noted for the time skip, was shown early in the time skip, and still hasn't shown, like, whatever his time skip power-up is. Like, is he just more powerful? Does he have, like, an advanced new technique? Is he gonna reveal, like, some new crazier paintings? I don't really know what Tabata's plans are for Rill. But you have to admit, right now, Rill is not looking so good. Gray's my favorite character. In fact, I literally want him to be, I want to be as strong, if not stronger than Natsu someday. Oh, he's never going to be as strong as Natsu. That's never going to happen. But I do think Gray needs to be a lot more powerful right now. The thing is, he is really strong, but it hurts because he hasn't gotten anything new in the time skip, and everybody else has gotten something new. So it's like when they're stronger, but you could note something to show that they're stronger. Because Gray also hasn't had a good like 1v1 yet in the time skip. It's really hard for Gray because it's focused more on him as a character, which has been really good. I've really liked what Machine's doing with Gray in his stuff with Juvia, but I really do think he needs to get like a power boost, and we're in Ellen tier, so it's perfect. I need like a progressed form of his demon, of his also a name. We still don't have a name for his like Devil Force, because it's the same concept of Dragon Force, but it's for, devil slaying magic. So we don't have it, but it's really weird that we still don't have it, and it's been out for so long. But to have that for Gray, I really want Gray to get a boost. Eden Zero 2021 is about to be more relation to Jesse. I don't really like Jesse. Jesse's a weird character because we never. There's like nothing that ever happened of Jesse. Like I thought Jesse was gonna be a bigger character. What is Homura's gonna be the thing with Jesse? Just like in the Switch, because that would be a really unfortunate way to end the season. Digital? I don't know if that's a good idea. That was my question though, really, for Eden Zero, because like season 1, you would have to like get a good spot for season 1 to end, because I don't think Digitalis would be a good way to end season 1. Like Kurina, I could see a good season 1 ending, but I don't know. You'd have to be a little speedy on some of the episodes, because that ends in like the 60s. I don't know what their exact plan is, but they did do that with Fairy Tail too. Like the first 48 episodes are like 130 chapters. It's all the way through Laxus's arc, all the way through the Fighting Festival. So it could happen, and I can understand, because Mishima's style at the beginning of the series, he takes a while to get things kind of all laid out before he gets into like the grander plot. Like you can look at that with Wraith Master, you can look at that with Fairy Tail, and he did that with the whole first act of Eden Zero. He has that. He definitely has that style, and that's one of the things that I'm worried about when it comes to the length. They haven't said what the. I don't think they've said that the episode length of Eden Zero. I don't want them to do too many and stretch the budget over, because I am hoping they do transition more into like kind of seasonal animes, like the 20 episodes or so, something like that. Because it's kind of how I'm hoping if they do a Fairy Tail anime for 100 Years Quest. I'm hoping seasonal or something kind of like in that 20 episode range. I just don't want Eden Zero to get kind of like how early Black Clover had, because that was really unfortunate for Black Clover. And on top of it being bad, it was like Black Clover is like the only new weekly anime, I think. Is there any other weekly anime? Actually, no. Boruto. Is there more episodes of Boruto? I don't know. Boruto's the only other one, but Boruto has absurd amounts of filler, absurdly high amounts of filler. But you know what I mean, in the fact that there's just, unfortunately, just rushing some of the parts and getting a low budget. I am worried about it at some portions. I think that if they did the whole style, like 3 episodes, kind of like how Fairy Tail did in the first season of its anime, all the way through the Fighting Festival, but through Kurenai's arc, you did 60 episodes instead, squished to like 20 something. That could work. That could work at where it'd be squishing, but you would keep the budget really well and probably keep the animation a lot more fluid. It would definitely feel really weird watching some of the scenes, probably, and how fast it'd be going, because it is really weird when you look at some of the episodes and you see like, oh, this whole plot line just came down to like 4 episodes. But it's really, obviously in the manga, it's like sometimes like 8 to 12 or something. So it is really weird in some aspects, but I think it'll work for Eden Zero if they do that. As long as they end season 1, I think, on a good note to get people more hyped up. Because Mishima, that was one of the reasons I think Black Clover had to be weekly, though, is Tabata has the same style. I think I accidentally turned off my TV. There we go. Tabata actually has kind of the same style as Mishima in that, is he does multiple small arcs that work into a much bigger arc. Because when you look at all the arcs before the Elf Resurrection arc, they all had something that relates to the Elf Resurrection arc. And then the Elf Resurrection arc was like a big, massive, overarching act. And then after that was the time skip. Because that's what Mishima does as well. Mishima did that with everything before Sirius Island, and then he did a time skip. And then he had everything after the part 1, and then he leading up to through Tartaros, then he had a time skip. Then everything between that time skip through Alvarez, and another time skip, and now we're in 100 Years Quest. Whenever he has like a big story resolving act, that's what he's doing right now. But instead, it's like each dragon god is part of that. So after all the dragon gods, we're going to probably get one much larger climactic overarching story that connects to everything. That's just how I see that. Mishima has that style, Tabata has that style, and I think it really works. And that's one of the reasons I think there's a lot of Fairy Tail fans that like Black Clover. Not only does it have similar nature in like the genre style, the the magic assets to it, the way that the main cast is very close, but also really well done at how close they are, that it feels very organic and natural in their whole like relations and interactions. It's not just like two characters are close, but you don't really know why. It's like, yeah, they've been on a couple adventures, but like, is there any emotional kind of weight to it? We see that in Black Clover, and that's one of the things Fairy Tail does too. Yeah, Rill is a beast. I agree, Artie. Like, Rill is very strong, but Rill does have that crippling weakness. If he's not motivated, he's clumsy and slow and goofy. Let's see. Need that Nozel armor. I actually hoping instead of an armor for Nozel, it's more of like, I'm trying to describe it because I'm hoping it's different weapons off of his metallic dome. I'm hoping his metallic dome either, unless it changes drastically, then I'm hoping it's more of the weapons or kind of what he makes coming out of there. But if he's going to have a power-up in general, I'm hoping it's the dome itself that kind of powers up. Because I really like the free nature of his magic. It's not the same thing as Gray's, but it has the free nature of it. And I wanted to bring up Gray because it's the easy transition of Musica, so I don't have to... So when people say who's Musica, I have to go on the thing. But Rave Master Musica was a silver claimer, so he could manipulate silver. But he didn't have as much on him as Nozel has. He mostly had his necklace, and he can turn it into like a spear and a couple other weapons, but he didn't have nearly as much silver on him as Nozel has mercury. But I'm hoping with the way that Nozel's is it's like more defined, more detailed weapons as it goes. And then kind of something like Byakuya, when Byakuya had Senbon Zakura Kagyo, she had all of these flower petals and then eventually concentrated it down into one weapon. Something like that for Nozel. That would actually be really cool if it's like he, after seeing Noelle condense her water to the point of wearing it, he does that with his bubble. But maybe his thing can be like, do you remember the weapon that Elf Charlotte had? Charlotte, like, she had the sword that had the barbs on it, and each of them could kind of lunge out in each barb direction. Imagine something like that, but everywhere on his body, like nowhere. Like if you jumped behind Nozel, so like a blade is coming out of his armor, kind of thing. That's how I imagine a power up for him to be. But if he does it, it really depends on the design. Because if Nozel does it, it could easily make sense. The question is how is his design gonna work? I'm kind of hoping it's more like a slick design, kind of like how Nox are, how he has that kind of Robin Hood way. But with Nozel, I think something kind of like a very sharp knight. I'm kind of thinking like in Dark Souls. Like what's the guy's name? Was it Smaug? And then what was the other dude's name? I think, let me see. Dark Souls, is it Esteen and Smaug or something? Smaug and who? And Ornstein, that guy. You know what I mean? When you look at that dude's armor, and it kind of just looks way more elegant. Like this guy moves quickly. It's done in a much more kind of like worn for fast-paced style. That's what I want for Nozel. But it would be really cool for him just to kind of have this omni-bladed armor, where no matter where you're, what angle you're fighting him, there's a sword coming at you. Something like that, I think, would really make sense. But I also think he needs some form of... I think Nozel needs some form of hacks, though, because... Well, he already has the poison hacks, to be perfectly honest. And it would just make sense of him just wanting more ways to defend himself while hitting you rather than developing some new poison. Because I would assume that his mercury potency probably gets stronger with, like, the stronger he becomes. Kind of like Cobra's poison should scale. Because unlike other Dragon Slayers, he is, you know, he's a poison base. He's using something to bypass his durability. Hang on. Ah. Dang it. Ah. I'm dying. I'm secretly dying. But not really. 1 second. Ah. Oh. Shit. That was a bad cough. Yeah, that's what I hope for. Ah. I'm struggling here. Oh yeah, I think I'm good. Jeez. Ah. My voice right now is in shambles. Anyway. There's a hex. Real fans are out to get me. But yeah. Nozelle's armor scheme, I think, just is the most important thing to get. Because it can't ruin his design. And his design is really hard to work with now, I think. Just in, actually, you know what'd be really cool is what if he had, like, an executioner's thing? What if his thing was kind of like he went more of, like, because he's, like, bladed and using bladed weaponry, but his big spell was the Silver Star of Execution. If he had kind of, like, an executioner's theme, that'd be perfect. And actually, you know what? I still think Fuego Leon is going to be Wizard King after Julius with the current settings. And that would be kind of perfect if for Nozelle to get that instead. If he was like, because I think he should be more on the battlefield, because he just seems more useful in, like, out in action constantly. Way more of a, you know, as a super utility fighter. And let me see. Let me can I go on? What's up, Tusk? How's it going? What's funny is I remembered to add you the other day, and when you first told me, I meant to go do it that day, but I just haven't been on playing my PS5, and I just remembered randomly, and I installed the app at some point in between you telling me, and then that day, and then I remembered to add you on to PS5. Is there a new Kingdom 1 chapter out? I'll go check later today. If there's one out, I'll do it in the morning. If there's one out, I haven't seen a new chapter. But if there is one out, I will read it either tonight or tomorrow morning, and I'll do a reaction tomorrow morning. MDY81. Nah, never, boss. Fairy Tail's great. Not my throat, though, apparently. Jeez. I'm being hacked. I'm being attacked by villains. I'm glad you like Eden Zero Sam, Jace. It is really good. People for some reason assumed it was going to be just Fairy Tail in space. And I wondered if people thought when Fairy Tail came out if it was going to be Wizard Rave Master. Like, it's really weird. Because the only similarity is the art. I do think that the thing that Mishima should not have done, to be perfectly honest, though, is Happy. The Happy robot, I think, shouldn't have been done. I understand his weird logic because Pino is the mascot of Eden Zero. Like, Rave Masters is Blue, Fairy Tails is Happy, and Eden Zero's is Pino. But he said, because where Pino comes in the story, it was going to be weird to start the series without a mascot at the beginning. So he had the Happy robot, you know, introduced with Rebecca. I think it was a bad idea, and it's sad to think about because it looks like he's going to die at some point, and it really dark in the story, but he obviously has died before. But I do think that it's going to be better for the story if he does die off. From the standpoint of some of the flack. But it's going to be really sad when it happens. And Mishima's already put it in the gears in motion. Because, like, the Shiki and Rebecca looking like Natsu and Lucy. Rebecca honestly doesn't look like Lucy. The thing is, it's obviously a little bit difficult when it's in black and white because you don't see the color differences in like eyes. You don't see just some of like their facial features, like the hair color. Obviously, there's a height difference. Like it's really weird. And then Natsu and the thing with Shiki, though, I'd say, is, like, he should have made Shiki's hair a little bit. He should have left long-haired Shiki. I liked at the start. But it does look like overdrive Shiki when his hair gets longer. I'm guessing as Shiki's overdrive progresses, the hair is going to get longer. So I'm fine with that if it's going to be kind of, you know, slicked back haired Shiki with the goggles. But whenever he goes overdrive, he has the long hair. I'm cool with that. I just like the style of it. Just because the way that, like, in Zero Gravity, it can kind of just, you know, he would be upside down, but his hair would be either going with it, or he could make his hair just kind of hang down. It is a little bit rough at the start, just because the similarities, obviously, in his art style, but his art is it's already like improved a lot. Like Mishima's gotten a lot better at drawing faster. So his, like, when he wants to do like a really detailed panel, he can do like way crazier stuff now in Week's deadline. It's not one of the ones he probably has to build up, because he did say when he went digital he got way faster. He said when he went digital he gets a chapter done in 4 days. That's how he's able to do Fairy Tail and Eden Zero at the same time. I like the power hierarchy Hero built with Erasion Stays Galactic, and they're still showing why they're top tier, or they're at the top beside Ziggy, so Shiki will have to work. Yeah, because the difference in Rave Master, the Eden, like the Erasion 6 were more of kind of like how the 7 Kin of Purgatory were in Grimoire Heart. They were a group in Demon Card. In Fairy Tail, they were a Dark Guild. It was just a group entirely. It was its own faction. And then in Zero, it's a title. It's kind of like how in Fairy Tail you get Wizard Saint. It's something they kind of put on you based on like a level you're at in that kind of, you know, as something. But in Eden Zero, you're a threat level for the Galactica, and then, you know, the Interstellar as like the good guys of the Erasion 6, it would seem. The Interstellar 6 demons and not the Galactic 6 demons. This is like, you know what's funny is that makes me think of like Yu-Gi-Oh archetypes. Like, what is it? There's the Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon and the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. I think it was that one that was like at war with Kite and Zexel, as he was like a different Galaxy Eyes user, and he's like, I'm gonna prove I'm the best Galaxy Eyes duelist. I remember that guy. That's kind of how I think of when I think of the Interstellar and the Galactica. Yeah, everything's about to change when user anime drops. It's gonna be really hype. And I'm not mid. I'm pretty cool. The only people that think I'm mid are unfortunate people themselves. See, like, you're right. That first off, you're right. That's not even how you spell Fairy Tail. It's Tail. That's one of the key differences. You have to read it. I talked to Quan the other day, and I was talking about, like, there's stuff in Fairy Tail that people miss and that don't understand why things happen. Like, for instance, when I brought up to him, he didn't notice is the question of why Makarov didn't die against Hades after their fight. Is because they were on Sirius Island and the tree was still up. The Sirius Island tree protects any Fairy Tail member from dying. As long as you're on the island and you have the mark, it prevents you from dying. That was the reason why Hades had Azuma go for the tree in the first place. And it's stated by Azuma when he's talking to Urza as he's getting ready to pull the tree down. It makes them it gives them a mild magic boost, and it prevents them from dying. That's why they were having the test on the island, so no one could kill each other. It was supposed to be like a safety net, pretty much, kind of thing, because obviously they're all in the same guild, and that way, now obviously, like, people like Natsu could go all out, and if anybody accidentally got wrecked by Urza or Guild Arts. I want to see here Mishima and Yukito. I really would love to see a collab. There's no way that Tabata hasn't read Fairy Tail. Like, he has such a similar style as Mishima. Like, just the vibe that he does, and even kind of the way he does the story. But both of them kind of, like, lay stuff out so different. That's one of the best parts. Fuck Rill, says Iron Nancy. I like Rill. The thing is, like, Rill is a likable guy. Rill's a fun character. the unfortunate thing of him is he just hasn't really done anything in so long to really add on to like the real character profile, you know? All he's really gotten is like we see him fly a little bit more, and then he got a haircut and a different outfit. We haven't seen whatever his post-time skip power. That's kind of like how I feel about Gray right now. It's because like Gray's more powerful, but we haven't seen anything new from him to kind of like demonstrate his progress. But the problem with comparing that is Gray's gotten a lot of character progress, whereas Real hasn't gotten any really much character progress or power level kind of showings to kind of like display, yeah, he got stronger, stuff's going on, he needs to kind of like put up his game. I'm hoping in the next chapter, maybe, because I don't think, unless the next chapter is completely peers over to Dante, doesn't do anything else, because it might do kind of like that where it's going to show her still in the thorns, and then Dante, and then, you know, that whole ends with the Dark Triad breaking out, and then Xenon getting up, because there's no way they're all done here. Like, they're still gonna keep fighting. They're not done. This is just the opener, where the Clover people are gonna get to show off their new powers. So we'll see how this all goes. I'm really hyped just to see what Dante's doing, because a lot of people don't seem to not understand Dante lost, because then he could experience the emotions of losing, and it would build on his character, and it goes with the way that Tabata's been building him. So it makes sense of how he's going to progress him. Because a good villain, like, losing doesn't mean you're automatically just knocked out of being being a good villain. Like, losing doesn't mean you're a bad villain. If you lose in a way that like, in an unfortunate way, like, if you're made to look comedic, kind of like dumb, then it's something that just doesn't make sense, kind of like way. Or something just inherently ruins your character, sure. But just losing isn't a bad thing. And Dante is what's going to be more of his reaction to, like, him seeing Austin again, and how he goes he kind of goes about himself after losing to Austin Yami. That is going to be the big thing for him, because if he's not the big bad who can't lose, he's you know, at the very top of everything. It's clear that Tabata is going to be building off of him as a character, and I think that's going to be more important in general. Who's your favorite Wafu character? Probably, honestly, I gotta say Personal. Dude, Personal is so cool. I think he is such a slept-on character. People really need to... Wakfu is up there. Wakfu is like Build King, but with way more content out. And with the final season coming out, people need to watch it. Wakfu is really good. The thing about Wakfu, I think, is the two hardest things is in the very beginning, it has a lot of it's way more lighthearted at some episodes, and you have to make it to the serious episodes to really understand the really good portions of the series. And obviously, watching it French subbed, I think, is the best way. And it's a little difficult when you're new to hearing French. I thought it was actually kind of cool, because it reminded me of when I first started listening to subbed anime. Way back in the day when I started finding out about anime online and stuff, and not just what was on TV. And then you just have to, it just feels new, and then eventually you get used to it, and I'm used to it now. So I'm really excited for Wakfu. I definitely think people should get into it. Spoilers is fun. Build King is really good. Good. I'm glad you agree, Sam Jace. It is really fun. I think people really like it. It's good, Iron Nancy. I don't know why you don't like it. It's good. It's already got some good action build-up. I think it just needs a good fight, like I said. I feel like Yuno hasn't used all his power. No, Yuno's just getting started, but Xenon is just getting really started. And I think that's going to be a pretty sick fight in of itself. I'm more interested in that than Rill and Charlotte versus Monica. So it's like classic Dragon Ball. Build King has a lot of very classic Dragon Ball feels. You would like it. It kind of like Monster, or Dragon Quest, but it's instead it has this very strong carpentry kind of theme to it. It's really weird, but it's cool in concept. I'll talk to you more about it on here or Twitter if you want to. I don't know if you're still here. So a little bit of Xenolith is still thinking. Wait, so if that little bit is Xenolith, do you think it still fights Ziggy? I don't think that's Xenolith. I think that's gonna be a messenger of Xenolith. If this, it would be really weird to introduce somebody above Ziggy right now, just out of the blue. I don't think that's Xenolith. I think that's like a robot that maybe kind of like his C-3PO. Also, Leo needs to die in Black Clover because he met. No, he does not need to die. He's fine. He just needs to get more. He just needs to get a couple more fights. Leo just has a bad position because both his brother and his sister are such big deals, and they're both adjacent to him, and they have the same magic. If Leo had his own magic, he wasn't a fire wizard, he would be kind of like out his own path. He would at least have his own kind of style of feats, but he also has fire magic feats that also pale in the comparison to his brother and sister. The only thing he has is AoE right now with his Crimson Eruption. So he just needs to get more, and I think people really start to really kind of give Leo some credit. Dr. Mueller give Raidmaster flashbacks. Branch Torch Nagisa was changed like a robot. Same as Mueller. Oh yeah, he's just showing. He's one of Mishima showing like a darker background story. Like think about like Jalal's like whole thing after he got brainwashed and he's going around murdering people. Mishima can be really dark. Like I said, I said I have to bring this to people that anybody who thinks that like Fairy Tail doesn't have like darker stuff in it. Like Tartarus started with 2 back-to-back mass murders. Like, it has killing. It's a shonen. It doesn't have to have, like, people getting murdered every 10 minutes. Like, Mishima is, for the most part, like, likes to do fun stuff, but he can definitely do dark. Why is Phantom Seer so overrated? It already gets hyped. The thing about Phantom Seer right now, to be perfectly honest, is its art style. It has a really cool art. It has a really cool, just sick, kind of sleek style to it. I think people really like. It's kind of like in the genre of what it is, like people compare it like Yu Hakusho, Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen. If you put all those in a list, it would be like, and then rank them on art, it would be like second under Bleach. People do really like it. It's just fun. I think the main character is cool. I like his sister. His sister I definitely like more. The thing about it, it's story-wise, I would give it the best, is I think its female lead is pretty cool. I like her. She's like this chick who is just right now just trying to do whatever she can to be useful and kind of like, you know, keep up. It's kind of like after Orihime stopped trying to be a fighter and just focused on her support. That's when I started like Orihime more, because she's like, I'm not good at offense, but I'm really good at support, like in healing and stuff. So she focused on that. I thought that was a really good kind of character step for her to kind of continue to be the best that she could be and like bring the strongest value she could to her group. Always thought that was really cool. Let me see. I just wanted to note that because that's one of the things I do like about the series. We got that early with the female lead Riku. I think she's pretty cool. Rax, do you think that Charlotte having anti-cursors? I think it's pretty cool. The thing that I think really needs to be answered, it's dumb, but it needs to be answered, is when we get back to that fight, however Vonica gets out, because we need to know a threshold, because there's going to be people that just pretend that it's like the flower's infinite supply draining. It has to have a threshold of like, okay, this much curse power can break out, or if you just have enough physical strength, you can break out. Like if it's just, it's like an all around more kind of curse caster, but if you physical strength, you just bust out of them kind of thing. Or if it just has a threshold, you just put enough cursed energy into it and they rupture or something kind of thing. I just don't want it to... It would make no sense if it was just infinite, because then it would just be like she instantly beats Megicula then. I don't want that to happen. It would make sense if this is like a starter for her, and then it would be something they could use later for other curse users and other devils and whatnot. Because Megicula is just a founding curse person. And Megicula doesn't have to die this arc. But Vonica, I don't think Vonica losing this early would make sense. Phantom Seer females, language in the chat. I'm just kidding, it's fine. I am fact Rax's alt account. Iron Nancy is not my alt account. He is a Mira Jane stan that will not give Gray enough credit. Anything other abilities in Eden Zero that aren't Ether Gear, like how Fairy Tail has curses and spiritual arts? Eden Zero has that. It's like their technology and stuff, like augmentations. Like that's what their whole thing is. Like theirs is gonna. I don't think they're gonna have any like other kind of style to Ether Gear, because Ether Gear itself is more of their primary power system. Because the other power systems in Fairy Tail, though they exist, they mostly exist to select characters and secondary for other characters. Like and with Eden Zero, I really just see like, you have people with like more of like, just using bigger weapons or better weapons, and then like augmentations, like powerful robots and stuff. Maybe bigger monsters. I don't think it needs a whole nother kind of power-up system like Ether Gear. Let's see. We need Dorothy fan service. She's the one that does it. People really like... Dorothy has a very strong, dedicated fan base. I've noticed that a lot about her character. She's like Mira Jane. It's really weird. But, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. She's a really good character. Do you think 2 years ago that Unizers first started, I thought you were the same person. Wait, what? I was there when Unizers started. Yeah. Wait, let me read this right. I don't know if I'm reading this right. I thought I was the same person. I am not the same person as somebody else. New form is my favorite Black Clover moment of last. That was a pretty sick new form. Quan is mid. Quan is not mid. Quan is just cruel. The horniness does not... No, I can defeat it. I'm a very powerful individual. I finally got to Quan's message. Iron Nancy not liking Jalal is a damn crime. I don't know how someone can not like Jalal. How does Foresta arc compare to other... I mean, this is just the opening arc. This is like comparing the Sun Village to Tartaros or Avatar to Alvarez. This is the opening to it. How is Build King already better than MHX? I mean... it's not. I'm gonna wait a couple chapters to kind of push more of that kind of agenda, but you know, if it goes the same kind of style with Toriko, it would not surprise me because I love Toriko. Toriko's a great manga. Or actually, being oh, my cough. Okay. Have I been reading Mission Yozakura Family lately? I have been. I've been keeping up on it. I read the new chapter. I thought it was really weird that they gave Tayo a hardening power. I thought his was going to be speed based, like he was going to have a lightning power. But I guess he's going to have a hardening power. I guess it makes sense. And then it's going to be more technique based, and it's going to get some super crazy OP power. But he can be absurdly durable, and I think that can still really work for him. And he can, like, you know, block bullets now, which I think is really cool. I've been enjoying it. The thing about it that really has, like, stood out for me is, I can't remember his name. The older brother, I've hated him until recently. I hated him as a character so much. Just because he's such a jerk. He's such an asshole. And his like overly like mean kind of like way he is to his brother is such into Tayo to his. It's not just to Tayo, like it's his sister's husband. He's like a real jerk to him still all the time, and I've really just not liked his personality the whole series. But he's been nicer lately. But he was one of the things like throughout it I've really disliked. I like the grandpa too, Bond. I think he's pretty cool. I wanted to mention, I forgot the one dude's name. I can't remember his name. He's like the really small, like, low level spy. His name it's easy to say, but I forgot it. I didn't want to mention it because I forgot his character, but I feel bad if I left him out. I liked him because he's just that dude's just trying to get by. He's just trying to, do his job, and he's just really bad at it. But I have been reading it. I have been liking it. I think it's a pretty good series. And then there's the nice Quan Credible appearing. Black Clover does a great job making characters that are not Asta as, if not stronger than he is. Oh, Asta still is really low. Like I said, Tamada and Mishima have a very similar style because Natsu was not that powerful early on. Natsu was not even remotely close to Urza until the Grand Magic Games. And then, like, Upper Tartaros, he was strong there. And then Alvarez is where he passed her up and Natsu became, like, a big monster. And then he's been climbing higher ever since. But, like, Asta in the first arc, like, there are a lot of people above him. Like, early Natsu, there are a lot of people above him. It's not going to be until probably the later ends of this arc to, like, next arc that Asta is really going to stand amongst, like, captains and stuff. Tamada has said he's fine going out to the ends of, like, One Piece and Naruto. So you got to look at it really from the longer sense of the game. This is, like, maybe in his head, arc 2 of 4. Like, Elf arc, Spade arc, and then maybe 2 more after this. in the story of Black Clover. We got some nice donations. I really appreciate it from old Quan. And Quan's a rich man. He owns his own business. Seki becomes Magic Emperor. You know, I actually think it would be really funny if there's an event where the king has to step down. Like, this is how I imagine it would go in this scenario. At some point, there has to be a new Clover King, like one of the royal families to take over for Augustus. And like maybe Augustus is dying or something, or has died, and in his will, it's like whoever the kind of like stand-in until the inauguration is Seki. So it's like Seki for the next 4 weeks, you're the king of the Clover Kingdom. And so it's just Seki doing goofy stuff in the background, and Seki's just on high until Seki's fall back into kind of like low character stuff. That's just how I see it going, and I'm perfectly fine if Seki just stays there, but there's also the possibility of him becoming the captain of the Purple Orcas. I know that's popular. What am I getting with $10? I might get some Taco Bell. I've really wanted to order some Taco Bell. So one thing I've mentioned, this is a small rant. So I've looked into it. There's somebody spent years learning how to make the gravy from KFC. So if you look online, if it's still on there, you can learn how to do it. For me, that's on there. I want to learn how to do it at some point. But for me, there was the pizzeria in my hometown made amazing ranch. Like it went well. Like I had on salad, I had on pizza. They had these amazing garlic rolls. It was great, and I was able to figure out essentially how they make it. I was able to figure out that recipe. But for so I've been super stoked on that, and I've been really enjoying that. But for Taco Bell, one thing I love about Taco Bell is if you just get like off the value menu, it's like the chips and cheese. I think they put something in their nacho cheese. Like there's just some extra like component to it that makes it taste so much better. Or just find out the brand that they use and use that, because I think theirs is really good. So at some point, it just made me. That's something I've been thinking about. It's in all of my food learning quests. It's all on how to make things that I liked from different, like, pretty much fast food restaurants. That's the goal. So maybe I gotta figure out if somebody has listed like how to make nacho cheese at Taco Bell online. I don't think they just put cheese in a heater. I don't know if they have their like a company recipe or something. Like they have their own kind of thing, kind of like ketchups that are at McDonald's. They have McDonald's brand ketchups. Oh, I guess yeah. And Taco Bell has their own. They have their own hot sauce. I wonder if they sell their own cheese in stores. I have to look that up. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Anyway, I've gone on a food rant because I've been really thinking about Taco Bell lately, but. I don't want to spend any takeout. That'll be the first thing I buy after the next time I do takeout. I'll definitely do that for sure. Which actually might be tomorrow since there's a Fairy Tail chapter. But I just bought a bunch of food, so I don't know. For sure, Eden Zero will be out in 21. That's what I really want to see. I really want to see a trailer. You can't get 3 quality snacks. That's enough for me. That is 3 quality snacks. Oh, hang on. I don't want to skip. I accidentally was at a Quan comment. I don't want to see what I don't want to skip it. Oh, Street's here too? Man, I'm so far behind. I want to catch up. Yeah, Mimosa's a healer. People give Mimosa a hard time. Okay, I found the comment. Hopefully for Build King. Hopefully Build King has match. That's the thing. Is like. If you read Toriko has some really good fights. Like, Toriko has some really intense fights. And this, I brought it up. Like, if you took Baki, and... Actually, that's the best way. Keep Pokemon out of there. Baki and One Piece, and then in Monster Hunter. That's kind of like how Toriko is. But, like, there's such a massive power level scale on top of that. But I think that's what he's going to do with Build King, and they've mentioned the levels of monsters. I got in an argument with somebody. This is a small rant. I have to do a warning. I had to adjust my mic. This is me really serious because this triggered the hell out of me the other day. I got so mad, and I get pissed off. I've said this before. So there's 20 people here. I've already been streaming for an hour, so this is kind of like the people that want to stay to hear what I have to say.
You know, there's some people that pop in, obviously, periodically at the early beginning. This is some people that stay to hear some of the later thoughts. So, this is a small rant. This is actually a small rant inside of a small rant. So, I've mentioned before, it's really funny, is you can tell if I'll be, like, in a slight Twitter bad mood, and because a lot of things I want to talk about happen when I'm at work. And a key example, when Fairy Tail's game got announced, I had just literally parked. I just turned off my car because usually when I get to work, it's dark out because I get there at 6. Well, I get there usually 10 minutes beforehand because I want to sit in my car and, maybe watch a YouTube video or see if there's anything I want to listen to before work. Just kind of chill. The car's warm. I'm kind of hanging out. It's cold outside. I just want to hang out for a few minutes before I go into work for hours and hours. But, it was right. I turned off my car. It's 1 minute until I'm have to get out of my car. And then I look and then the game gets announced. And then I was like, what the fuck? Oh, and then that was the morning. Also, an hour ago, Heroes was announced. So I was super hyped up. And I got to work and I just was man, everything I want right now, everything in my brain was, I wanted to see what people were talking about these reveals. So it was such a bad day. It's one of those days, if I knew this was going to happen, if it was teased there was a big day, I would have called in sick. But it kind of just happened. I was mind blown. I was so pissed off. But stuff on Twitter happens to me all the time. I get into arguments I really want to have, debates, right as I'm at work, and either right before I go into work or it happens on a break. And so I was arguing with some guy because I saw someone talk about the Build King chapter, and he ranked it's this guy who ranks his chapters, and he didn't like the Build King chapter. And when I was talking to him about it, the reason he said he didn't like it is nothing happened. And I was trying to figure why didn't you like it just in general? But it didn't make sense to say that you didn't like it because nothing happened. I pointed out there was actually multiple plot points in that chapter. There's multiple things stated in the chapter that are all laid out. And I mentioned it is a sign of an experienced mangaka versus a newer one. Is there's multiple things laid out in chapter 6 of Build King that is done in subtle ways that doesn't overwhelm the reader with information. So you're not reading walls of text and you're just getting overloaded with stuff. It's stuff that's very subtly laid out there so you can see it and you just kind of get it. Very quickly. Or if you reread it, you see it. It's very subtle while still exploring the series and the world and stuff. And then I was saying, there was 2 plot points. There was 2 later arcs set up in 1 page of it. And then there was laying out the stuff, I said, with the monsters, because one of the things that's important obviously about the series when in terms of the action quan is one of the guys mentions a level for the monsters. So there's obviously going to be more powerful monsters. So if there's a ranking system, that's going to mean that the main character has to get more powerful to fight bigger monsters. So there's definitely going to be action. And the way that the series is kind of themed, it's there's giant monsters and the weather and environment is all crazy, but you have to have, these guys have to get these absurd building materials and fight these absurd monsters and environments in order to create these havens for people to live. It's really cool in concept because I really liked it about Toriko. When they were fighting for food, it was it was primal when it came down to it. You saw their gourmet demons and stuff, and it was 2 creatures fighting for survival over their next meal. And now he's doing houses and how we use homes to to fight back against the elements, because that's really how humans manage to survive. Ah. Dang it. I really need to drink more water. But, because that's one of the things about humans, out just generally in the wild, we're one of the worst. We have, that's why we developed, all these innovations to, going out inside of the wild, going out inside of, I was gonna say, trailers and stuff, but I meant just voyaging outside in the terrain and different ways to eat and hunt and stuff, just improving that so vastly in the innovations of humans. But us in general, like us against the elements, we're bad at. So I really like the concept. How far in King Golf? I'm still at chapter 2. I got to read more. I got distracted with a couple things recently because I've been getting in a couple arguments, but I am going to read more. I like the main character. He seems pretty interesting. I think the dreads are really weird, but I like when people take odd choices on main characters. It's kind of like how short Asta and Tonkachi are. Because Deku started small, but he's definitely going to get a lot taller. Like there's no way he's not going to be a lot taller. He's like generally getting taller like a normal kid. Whereas like Asta has shown that he is short. Tonkachi is kind of a mystery. He might get taller, but right now he is a very short guy. Like he's even shorter than his brother. His brother just looks like a normal kid height. Actually, I think his brother's taller because Cork, I think he's taller than Cork too. I don't know, either way, just kind of stuff like that, where they're just kind of like some early twists. Kind of like how the main character, if you've read Kaisen number 8, he's 32. He's an old dude. Just like a slight twist on their characters like that, I always enjoy. I low-key hate when new gen manga have a modern world sometimes. I love some completely different, unique worlds. It depends on how it's worked. I definitely will say I like unique worlds more than real world settings, but real world settings can work. Let's see. Comparing episode 9 to Eden Zero. Episode 9 of what? Oh, let's talk about Quan and his monstrous hating of Elsie and Justice. Elsie and Justice knew they would live. They just want to kiss. No, they were trying to kill each other. That's why it's called Kiss and Die. They want to kill each other. Either way, like I like the idea, even if it's like this kind of like duo suicide space Romeo and Juliet. I still think that's interesting. As long as they die fighting, I think that'll be cool. As long as they keep hating each other. What we see in Drac and Joe versus Justice. Oh, wait, that's not fair. We haven't seen enough of Justice. The thing about Drac and Joe is we understand Drac and Joe on a fundamental level of how his ability works. It's kind of like August. Like, August, we didn't see a ton of magics from him, even though he's supposed to have a ton of magics, but we know how his magic works. And we know enough about him of, like, magics he should know, but also, like, if you put him in Black Clover, he could copy other people's magics the same way, because you know how the base fundamental aspect of how he works is. Whereas, like, with Drac and Joe, we know the base root of his is alchemy. And you can do a lot with alchemy just in thinking of how alchemy works. And what we've seen of it. Justice, I think we need a couple more abilities, a couple more spells. Like, really, what does he have right now? He's got speed and flight, and then he's got a couple of attacks. I think we need, like, a good hacks, too. That is one of the things, honestly, like, in a lot of modern-day shonen, is, like, you need to have a good hacks. That's why One Piece characters fall behind a lot when it comes to versus stuff. Especially, like, in the grander scope of things. Like, they don't have a lot of hacks. Black Clover is really good at that. Eden Zero is definitely shown that so far. Fairy Tail's really good at that. Seven Deadly Sins was good at that. Bleach, like a lot of them. That's just one of the things. When it comes to like these battle shonens, you don't want to like fall behind with like One Piece. Like Dragon Ball only has really high raw numbers, but if you get a series with raw number levels like that, they're also probably going to have a lot more hacks. Let's see. Oh yeah, they're talking about Quan and his hatred for Lopa Chica. That was painful. I can't believe Quan on that. You don't have to like her from a fighter standpoint. She's not a fighter. She's just a support mage that's really kind of like clumsy and scared. Yeah, like she has a character. She's just a really nice person. PX slander? Nobody's slamming PX. Mimosa's. I like Mimosa too. That's what I think. People slander Mimosa. I like Mimosa. What's your take on the Mojito slander lately? On people. Here's the thing. I think it's a little justified. Not as much as just like kind of like a little bit of banter, because Jujutsu Kaisen fans have been smug lately. I'm sorry to say, Jujutsu Kaisen fans have been a little, and it's not their fault. They've been in a good place. I don't blame them. I'll tell you this right now. If we were in like the giant grand pinnacle of the Ellen tier arc, and it's gonna be as hype as it seems so far, and we get the anime back, and the anime is doing really well, I'd be pretty damn smug too. So I don't blame them. It's oh, See, anything I talk about, I keep coughing. I'm cursed. But some of them are toxic about it. If people just want, they just want to sit on their high horse, I'd be fine with it. But some of the mean people, I kind of like, they deserve a little. It's kind of like what people do to Shigaraki fans. I kind of understand, because story-wise, it makes sense. Like, obviously, Shigaraki is not done. This isn't the end to Shigaraki. Mahito, it's probably not the last time we see Mahito either. The thing, though, with Mahito is, the thing with Mahito is he's kind of in a bad position after, like, the hype he got recently and, like, how well he's been doing. And now he's in a really just bit of a dangerous position. So I think it's a little well-deserved, but, like, obviously, like, I don't hate Mahito. I still like Mahito as a character. I think he's still really cool. But like I said, when my take on him in the stories, it makes sense, and I can't really argue against that. I also love Marileona Kwan, don't worry. See, the Jujutsu Kaisen fans are cursing me now. Rebecca would be a refuge from Kaido Chronos. I don't think so. I feel like Rebecca needs to be her own thing. Or is she just some straight girl? I'm still fine with that too. The question I think with Rebecca is more in how she got Cat Leaper. Because what I don't want it to be is she just kind of like is someone that was born with it. Because that's how Aetherion was. I'm hoping somebody gave it to her. And it was kind of like some form of coincidence she got it. That's what I'm hoping for when it comes to Rebecca. It's a little bit of a weird thing because it's such a probably large-scale scope question. We're not going to get answered for a long time. But that is at least my take on it. I'm hoping it's not played similar to Aetherion. Because Mishima does... When I say, like, one of the things I do like about Mishima is he'll take something that was in a previous series and do it more of a reference because he takes it in a different direction. And I don't want him to do something in the same direction. That's just kind of how it is. If he kind of twists it to kind of, like, do a spin on the original concept, I'm fine with that. I enjoy that. I think that is fun, and it does build off of, like, the larger scale. Kind of like manga cosmos he's set up. Man, Gray's cool. Get at Iron Nancy. You're ridiculous, dude. Gray is awesome. I don't know why you don't like Gray. If Fuego gets Spirit Dive, he might be stronger than Yami. He might be, 100%. Wait, where was Street's comment? If Nozel doesn't get a crown, I am flying to Japan with my full erection. What? Nozel doesn't need a crown. Why? He doesn't need a crown. He's not gonna. I don't think he's Wizard King. What studios do Nina Zero? I forgot. It's out. I forgot what it is exactly. They've done a couple animes. JC Staff, yeah, that one. I think they'll be fine. I've got some good hopes for Eden Zero. I'm really hoping they don't mess up the anime though. That would be horrible for it. That would be horrible because like Eden Zero is gaining momentum right now. That is very true. More people have been reading Zero. More people have been getting on the trend. More people have been getting interested in the series. So I think it would be horrible for the momentum. I think it just needs to be like, when Black Clover is like we're having like a good episode, like where the general animation looks good, and then it kind of like goes kind of crazy with fights, and kind of like action scenes, and you know has a lot of really just nice big beautiful scenes like that Mishima kind of has set up with the spacing, because that's one of the things I think Eden Zero has a lot of just general visual potential with, as being a space series that you don't get with a lot of other series. So I'm really hyped to see how the anime does. I think the anime is going to do really well. I'll showcase someone a bunch of 90s anime like Orphan. Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm hyped. Next year is going to be so good for anime. I've mentioned that to a couple of people. 2020 was... like, outside of Jujutsu Kaisen, I can't think of anything other that I was really hyped for other than parts of Black Clover. Because I wanted to see what Black Clover's... I did want to see what Black Clover's anime-only like content was going to be like. And there's still stuff I want to see that I haven't watched in it. Because I haven't watched all of the anime arc episodes, but I do want to watch them at some point. I do want to go back to them and see, just how all those were. But... other than that, like Jujutsu Kaisen, I can't think of anything else. Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's I was hyped for. I do have to get caught up on that as well. I'm a couple episodes behind. But there's a lot already in 2021, like Eden Zero, Record of Ragnarok, freaking Chainsaw Man. There's still the Thinkers Crossed 100 Years Quest anime. There's a lot of stuff coming up I am really excited for. There's a go. Oh, I almost caught that cough. There we go. There's a couple other things I'm really hyped for. I can't remember. There was like 2 other kind of smaller anime series that are coming out that I'm really excited for. A couple like small isekais. Also, Wakfu Season 4. I am super excited for that. Quan, if you're still here, after like Build King, I think you need to watch Wakfu. I think Quan would really like that. I gotta talk to Quan about that. Overdrive Shiki versus Enraged Deku. Overdrive Shiki is crushing Deku. He is whooping the shit out of Deku. Oh my god. Deku, that's the thing. Like, My Hero has very low power levels in comparison to one of his other ones, kind of like One Piece. Jared Punch repping his fanfiction. Go read it if you're interested. Yukio Holder unrated. Yukio Holder, I gotta get caught up on that. I'm a couple chapters behind. His gets a little awkward sometimes, but I do like his writing. He does a little bit of the awkward Pactio fan service sometimes, a little over the top. But I do like his adventures, and I like his characters. Crazy on My Hero Stand. Really, I think the verse strong. There's only a couple people that think My Hero is that powerful. I think most people know. Rax got the C. I got the COVID. No, I don't think coughing. I don't think coughing's even one of the symptoms of COVID. Is it? Is coughing one of them? I know. I know, like, you know, fevers and like loss of taste and smell. I definitely have those. I'm on one of my screens. I have Twitter, and I'm looking at a tweet, and it's got food on it, and I'm really hungry now thinking about it. And I don't think I've eaten much today, because everything I wanted to do before the stream, because I was really adamant on doing a stream today. And just because we're sitting at a good 29 people, I just wanted to say everybody is here. I'd really appreciate if you would thumbs up the stream, befriend the like button and the subscribe button if you aren't subscribed already. And all donations, super chats, whatever, are appreciated. They're not required. I don't think anyone, no one should ever feel like they have to give me money to do these streams or anything. I know some streamers kind of like want to emphasize on that, but I don't really care at that point. I mostly just want to chat with people for a bit of time. I'm like I'm more like a commentator. You give me tips if possible. But other than that, I do like talking about the series, so I'm always hyped to, in general, talk about them. Do you watch boxing? I was thinking about watching, what was that one? There was that one recently where that boxing series with, like, robotic enhancement things. I forgot what it was called, but I watched a couple episodes, and I forgot about it, and I just kind of, brushed it off. But I've been kept in enough attention that I do want to watch it again. I want to finish it. Rex is having a beer hug. No, I don't. No, I just was. I talk a lot when I go over stuff. I try really hard not to go into like my rambles when I'm in streams with other people and whatnot. But people that have been on streams before and come to like some of my videos know when I get excited about something, I can talk about it for a long time. And obviously, ranting about stuff sometimes can get me super off topic. Maybe Gray can use Invil's Ice Lock or True Ice Conway to fight. So that's one of the things that like is really bothering me is Gray. I'm hoping Gray reveals that because he copied it from Invil, so he should be able to do it again. But I'm hoping he just has like a progressed form of his Ice Devil form, because he hasn't like Natsu's has shown. We've seen like Natsu's form progressed and like what it looks like as it's gotten like further down the line, but we don't have that with Gray. Gray's still at just kind of like the dark marking and his hairstyle changes. And his ice is like a slightly different color. We need to get Gray, getting like an ice horn or something, or getting like some form of outfit. Something just cool. I don't know. Like a new power-up form, pretty much. It's such an easy way to kind of summarize it, but it is really sick. Oh, thank you to Kenmano for the $50 super set. Still waiting on Atlas Flame. Don't worry, it's playing out. I think I figured out how I want to do it, so I'll share with you guys really quick on what your opinion is, because we got a lot of people here. and this does relate to that of what Kamar's asking, the Atlas Flame video. Natsu can't break Tsukuyomi. Yes, the thing is, if you trap Natsu and Tsukuyomi, it's not gonna matter because Natsu's body can keep fighting without thinking, and that's not gonna, like, if you put Itachi and Natsu in the same vicinity and Natsu's body goes off without him fighting, the Natsu currently, he's gonna incinerate Itachi from just being around him. Natsu is, there's the thing about Natsu that makes him so dangerous. I haven't talked to this to the extent because I try not to talk too much about battle things, but when it comes to battle stuff, the thing that makes Natsu so formidable is he's fought so many other hacks people and he's figured out ways to overcome them. And his against Cobra's being so simple of him just not thinking while fighting, super meathead moment for him for sure. But it was such a simple thing. It means that stuff that messes with his brain doesn't really work. Is somebody in a call with me? Oh, I have my stream open and I have like the audio going. I was like, did I accidentally join a Discord call with someone? But it was actually, it was just me. I got so super distracted. That's pretty funny. But yeah. So the thing is, it's like it doesn't matter because if you do a mental assault on Natsu, his body can still fight. And when it comes to illusions and mental attacks, Bambietta is like a really good example of that from Bleach. Even under Shinji's Shikai, she just had to, instead to be like, okay, whatever, I don't need to know where I am or which way I'm going, I'll just attack in every direction. Natsu just does that. Natsu does that all the time. Like, Natsu could just enter Fire Dragon King mode and kill Itachi. And even just like Natsu is just busted like that. He has so many resistances to abilities. That's what makes Natsu so formidable in the large scale. I accidentally replayed that. But yeah. Anyway, take care, man. Consider my late Christmas present. Yeah, so I got 30 people in here. Let me ask your guys' opinion. So I've watched a couple other kind of like people do like character videos because I know what I want to talk about when it comes. Oh, I didn't mean to play it twice. When it comes to other people's character videos, I was thinking of like, how do I want to do like the layout of it? Because I know what I want to say, but when I look at other people's character discussion videos, it's usually kind of like they're doing a slideshow. And the one that I kind of tried before, on explaining things I'm fine with, but I kind of want to do more of the way that they do. So some people do, like they kind of just have them talking and then show pictures of like the panels they're talking about. And I don't show my face in videos, so I was thinking instead, the way that I really liked it is I wanted to turn off nameplates and there's like find a spot in like World of Warcraft where I have my character sit on like a chair near a fire and it's like I'm telling a story about a character. What is your guys' opinion on that? I just thought that was kind of cool. I just thought that was a neat kind of way to do it, and it was also like it'd be a way for me to also save so much time on it because I don't edit my videos, so I don't do a lot of video editing, so I don't know how to do like extensive stuff. So it would fit into my style without me having to do a whole lot, and I could get the videos that I want, I think, further done, to where I could just do a video where I talk about them and then later just edit in the pictures. That's just kind of how I'm thinking. Tell me your opinion on that. But anyway, yeah, thank you, Kimana, for the $50. I always appreciate it. You always go crazy, and every dollar is always really thanked. I've already got my next aim. They actually, so I think at the House they approved of Trump's proposals for the $2,000 stimulus. And this has to go through Congress. If they do that, I'm getting that Gajil and Wendy figure. I'm pre-ordering that for sure. If we get that, I'm pre-ordering it. But yeah, thank you, man. I've always appreciated. I'm probably gonna get food with this. I like I said, I need to master a couple other like of my favorite fast food things. Maybe I already read this one. Great. Kind of like Hollow Zangetsu, but asked Ichigo, "What are you doing?" Ichigo's asking to get killed by Byakuya because all Ichigo knew how it took to clap him. I don't know. I think I'm so far behind I don't even remember what this is referring to. When Noelle uses true magic mana method and ultimate style, she's gonna be big. Because the thing about Noelle, people forget it. Her quantity of magic is huge. She's like Lucy in that regard. Is her trait is she has a ton of magic just in the general amount. Her quantity of magic is just swelteringly humongous. Like Tabata's even commented on that. Comment on that entirely. I think Hiroshima should have had main characters look identical. It's the thing is like some of it it's a little hard in like Rebecca and Lucy is because there's no color. Like if it was colored, you wouldn't really see it because they do have different. There's been parts in Heroes where they've stood next to each other. They don't actually look that similar. Rebecca's a little shorter. She's got a little bit of a pudgier face at times. She's also a little thicker too in the waist. She's got some thicker thighs than Lucy, I think sometimes. But if it was in color, like it's like reading Heroes because when I look at it, I remember all the characters' color schemes. So I don't notice stuff like that a lot of the times. When I compare them, I have to look. If I look at it through just certain kind of like blocking out aspects of it, I can kind of see it. It's kind of like Shiki and Natsu are mostly only look similar when like Shiki has some of the sharper eyes, but that's Natsu normally, whereas Shiki usually has a much more happier look than Natsu, and is obviously personality wise they're nothing alike. But it's going to be how Mishima's art style progresses, I think, too. I think that people have to keep in mind. Cause like look at like early Rave Master versus late Rave Master, or early Fairy Tail versus late Fairy Tail. Eden Zero is going to probably look a lot different by the time it's over, or just be more defined. It's called a star system. It consists using character. What are you talking about? So Goku can't kill them on that island. I mean, Goku could blow up the island. Do you see Kaede Cosmos? What else is it? Kaede Cosmos. Do you see the Kaede Cosmos that Elsie is from being the next saga for Eden Zero? Either next or the second to next. I'm guessing we're gonna go through all of them pretty consistently. It depends on how high scale it is. Actually, I don't know because I would assume that like an arc in their cosmos is probably going to be like the end of their story, so it'd probably be a little bit later, coming like the later versions, because I would imagine their cosmos is probably still in ruin of this giant war. Yeah, I was going to say, like, as long as you blow up the island, it'd be like if you put Brandish versus them. Brandish shrinks the island, bam, they're not on the island. She kills those versions of them. You know, Langren's getting boned. Yeah, they're not in a good spot when Xenon starts fighting seriously. When Xenon starts fighting seriously, they're screwed. Wakfu's goat. Yeah, Wakfu's awesome. Actually made a good point on Dante because Rave Master spoilers, but Lucia. Yeah, Lucia lost to Haru like before too. Crazy that people really like Xenon got one shot. Yeah, but he's not over. It's not done. He's gonna get up. French guy involves Wakfu and Radiant goaded. Radiant, the thing about Radiant that's unfortunate, Radiant's manga is really good. Radiant's anime have some scenes and like some of the ways they change the story in the early portions that I can see kind of people being turned off by. But Radiant's manga is really good. I definitely recommend Radiant. And Wakfu especially, I love Wakfu. Wakfu is very underrated. I don't talk about it enough. But I'm probably going to start pushing the agenda when the next season starts. Right now it's the Build King agenda, but I think people should definitely watch Wakfu. Leo's so weak he died by falling. I went, he's not weak. Come on. How exactly is Radiant? Radiant is not trash. The thing is, read Radiant's manga. Don't watch its anime. The anime is not very good. At least the first season. I don't know if it gets better in the next season. There were some screenshots that looked, unfortunately, not nearly as good as the manga. I would say definitely read it. Read the manga. Don't watch the anime if you wanted to get into Radiant. What is this current Yuno versus Agil? Yuno still gets overwhelmed by Agil. Are you kidding me? Like if Yuno was if Yuno needs a couple tiers higher, because Yuno obviously has a way around Agil, but he's still such at like a smaller level than him that Agil just overwhelms him. The Orient, giving Orient an anime before Magi's last season was kind of dark, funny, dirty. It was very unfortunate for some of the fans. Quan seems to understand. Fantasy is cool. It's got some pacing problems. Yeah, I'm really interested in Phantom Seer. I think it's cool. I like the art a lot, and I like the main character's powers and whatnot. But like I said, I'm super hyped about Build King. I think people are really going to like Build King, and we just need a good action chapter. I'm looking forward to Quan's stream. Quan is going to read it on stream on Wednesday, so I'm super hyped about that. If they got a remaster Yu Hakusho, that'd be pretty sick. Quan, you'd act like you didn't say Charlotte Lolo. The thing is, like, couldn't Charlotte undo the curse on Lolo so we can see like Lolo like in her prime? Because she could be more powerful. Don't call Quan. Quan's not mid. Quan's cool for the most part. Some of his Black Clover opinions, though. Mira Jane is way better than Dorothy. Mira Jane is way more content, but she has that fan base that it's surprising like how many she has, knowing she hasn't been in a lot of the series. But Mira Jane has a much larger arsenal of content because of like anime only arcs and extra chapters and whatnot. She has a lot of just additional content that of her that exists in Dorothy. Because like imagine Dorothy just from the manga. The anime's already given Dorothy a good extra chunk. Oh, Iron, you do like Jalal? Okay, I was gonna say like Jalal is great. I love Jalal. Jalal's one of my favorites. I'm not dead. That was just sometimes I just get so like I talk on such rants and then I don't realize that I need to drink water because my throat's just dried up from overly talking. I just end up coughing a ton. It happens to me all the time. I told you, my ability to talk is a curse. Quan, if you're still here, you know for a fact that if I go on a tangent, I can talk for a long time. It's something I've had as a problem for like my whole life. It took me a long time. Essentially, I had to stop talking for a long time. I was like a monk. I stopped talking a lot. And then eventually I started kind of just talking to people again. There was like a year period where I barely talked to anybody. So like it's really weird because I tried not to like get really close to anybody at work when I was like in the Navy for a while, and then if I don't know any if I at work when I didn't know anybody I didn't really talk to anybody, and then I got to know people so I talked to them. If I don't really know somebody I don't talk to them that much in real life. But there was like a year plus period where I didn't really talk to people, so I went again. I was like a monk, and then I gained I think I just became super self-aware. And so, like, I try really hard whenever I kind of catch myself to kind of just realize stuff that I'm doing. So, when I get lost on, like, weeb stuff, though, I just keep talking. And I don't realize it. I told you, I'm secretly cursed. The bat ate last night. I don't think I could eat a bat. I like bats. I've always really liked bats. I've always thought they were really cool. I think that was one of the reasons I liked Batman a lot as like a little kid. I always thought vampires were cool. I just like the animal itself. It looks cool. Like it's depicted a lot really cool. And then in reality, I just like them. They look like kind of squinty-faced guinea pigs with wings. Because I don't know if you ever actually looked at a guinea pig. They're a bat. They're like a little flying rodent because they're mammals. There's a bunch of French in the chat. I don't speak French. Kyochiro. Oh, that guy's... If that's the guy you're talking about, yeah, I like that guy. Mira Jane is not above Gray. So not only does Gray have better feats, but Gray counters her. Mira Jane all out, every ounce of her power, beat Juliet and Hein. Gray stomped Invul. Gray destroyed a Spriggan, whereas like Mira Jane's best thing is beating a nerfed Spriggan in a joking manner with Jacob, because Jacob was absolutely the funny kind of comedic member of the Spriggan 12, and his whole weakness to women like obviously worked in Mira Jane's big cleavaged favor. Gray is so much stronger than Mira Jane, it's ridiculous. Gray fought against like the Aetherius Natsu and like was gonna be able to hold Zareth, and he stomped Invul. Come on, man, that's ridiculous. Gray is so much more powerful than Mira Jane. No, Gray, like Scullion whipped out Black Ash against Gray. When they were actually fighting, Mira Jane didn't even get a named attack out of Scullion. Scullion literally was just turning into ash around all of her attacks and kicking her and hitting her. He used named attack because he used a broken ability on Gray that, like, from the start. Because him versus Gray was, him using just the general ash, then he used absolute ash, and then he used black ash. None of that against Mira Jane. He laughed at Mira Jane. Mira Jane didn't do any damage. Mira Jane never even countered one of his abilities. Gray froze absolute ash. Gray froze one of his. Just want to point that out. Mira Jane can't compete. Asta with W is definitely going to be up there with the Captains. I think so too. I think Asta... People have mentioned this is like Asta Sage mode. I think that's why people like Yami and Charlotte, they're kind of being put up above other captains. When then Asta, in this level is going to kind of step up. I think somewhere around Rill when he kind of gets here. But, Rill with way better hacks. Quan owns a small business. He's wealthy. Listen. There's a reason why we call him Quan Credible. It's because he's credible in stock exchange. He is amazing. You should ask him for business advice. Let's see. I see all these people arguing about Gray. Like it's not even. I'm just gonna skip through some of this. Like it's not even like comparable. Gray has so many better feats than Mira Jane. Tartarus does some dark stuff. And acting like a stomping arm's corpse. Yeah, and Jalal stomped on somebody's head until it exploded in the Tower of Heaven. Mishima can go dark. He just doesn't do it a lot. Is Jean French? Quan Dior? What does that mean? Nacho cheese. Dude, I love nacho cheese. That is what... So, what's funny is... oh, God, I lost my place. I gotta scroll up. I was gonna say, while I'm scrolling up, I gotta figure out where I was, but I want to say, like, I think one of the weird things about me is, like, a lot of people prefer, like, that, like, dessert stuff. I've always been more of, like, my idea of, like, an amazing, like, treat food is, like, a soft pretzel and, like, nacho cheese. Like, I know some people would go for like a dessert thing, but I something like soft pretzels, something about nacho cheese. I don't know. Maybe I have like a sliver of Swedish in me that goes all the way back to the royal Swedish family that are like born from a chosen folk of Swedish cheese, pasture folk. I don't know. That's my character arc. I'm secretly the king of Sweden. That'd be really awkward. Everyone... Actually, that'd be really sad. The king of Sweden, he's not... They would probably want some, like, Viking dude. I don't like anything like a Viking. I mean, that'd be sad. I didn't even have the right hair color. They want, like, a blonde hair, blue-eyed dude, or, like, green-haired-eyed. I don't know, like... What? Noelle's cool. Mimosa over Sally. Noelle, Rebecca. You like Sally over Noelle? What? Quan! What are you doing? Are you serious? That might be one of the most controversial things I've heard in a long time. That's the questionable thing there. Like Noelle, like Sally over Noelle. Like, see, people are freaking out. Rebecca got too much responsibility on her hands. I like Rebecca. Rebecca though is the one that, like, I feel like she's the safest, actually, is the best way I'd say. She's not going to be out there in battle. Like, the thing about all these other girls is they might die in battle one day. Rebecca's going nowhere. Rebecca's at home. She's watching your kids, and she's doing stuff. I mean, she's not a fighter, but she's really good at her own skills, and she's a hard worker, too. She's also very nice. Everyone should just... Rebecca slander is always one of those ones I never get, because it's like, she's not a fighter. She's literally just some kind of barmaid that, like, has our brothers and sisters she takes care of. It's like Quan's hate of Lolo. I never understand it. We'll get Eden Zero prequel like Fairy Tail Zero. I won't be for a while. I've seen Narrow Robe and the new art. Oh, I have to go look. I'd have to look on that. Let's see. My main character's hacks unlimited power as a dragon and from his emotions as well as absorption for other dragons. I'd have to go on a list of what my character does, Jared Punch. I've been talking to one of my friends. One of my friends is also kind of doing this. He's kind of in the same boat where it's like, regardless of if we ever get this published or worked on, we just kind of like want to do our own story for the sake of, I think, of our own nerd stuff. That's just kind of how it is, I feel like. Everyone's got their own ideas whenever kind of they get into these stories. I've been working on mine, but one of my friends I go over with a lot over stuff. And my character has a lot of abilities. But it's more like he has a lot of techniques in a couple of abilities. Kind of like Yami. Let's see. Fragile's the snow chick. I like her. She's an underrated character. Yeah, Fragile, I like her. She seems really nice. She just seems like a really nice character in general. She has a nice magic. She looks nice. She looks really polite. Fragile is definitely an underrated Black Clover waifu. She's a very, she's a secret rare. How about that, Quan? Quan, if you're still here, how about that for Fragile? She's a secret rare. That's her rarity as waifu in Black Clover. There's only a select few. Just see a bunch of horny tweets. Natsu, what's Natsu talking about? Lucy kicked Meteor Breaker. Yeah, I mean in power level technically, yeah, because he scales way higher. Shiki wouldn't fight Lucy. Why would Shiki fight Lucy? The legitimate thing is that Lucy has better feats. Like, no joke. Lucy actually, I told you, Lucy scales fairly high. It's just kind of hard with Lucy because she's not a power output character. She's a utility and then like intelligence character. Because her whole thing is like the sheer amount of ability she has at her disposal. And Lucy, similar to Noelle, has a large quantity of magic at her, at her power. Like Noelle has a high monopool. Lucy has a high ether monopool. They just have a lot of it. So, just them in general, I think, having that similarity. But Noelle's more of a fighter, but Lucy is more of a strategic person. But Lucy still scales well above Shiki. It's just because Shiki, obviously, in the long run, Shiki's probably going to be way more powerful. But right now, Lucy is a lot more powerful than her, right? Just in the current setting. Let me keep going. Megalol boxing, yeah, I'm gonna read that, or not read that. I'm gonna watch that. Was it good? I didn't finish it, but I didn't hear people start talking about it. I didn't see anybody hype over it after that. Yeah, Kemano always goes crazy in the super chats there. Iron Nancy. What's the next arc after Forester? They're probably gonna start going to war with Poseidon Arrow, because think about with Drac and Joe, they were messing with the Eden Zero, so they got they're gonna go figure out what's up. But I think they're going to do it now, but they're going to be smarter about it. And I think everyone's going to get more powerful. Because the thing about B Squad 6 is all the characters had to use their strongest stuff in order to beat their opponents. So their power ceiling is known. So they're going to have to climb higher after this. So the fact that after B Squad 6 we get B Squad 1, and then we also get teased to Ocean, so it's there's way more tiers left to go on. And Poseidon and Shura, there's a lot left, I think, of this arc that we obviously are just getting into. What's up, Javalda Anderson? How's it going? Hey, Kimano's a crazy man. Well, so you would compare chakra and magic, because it's energy equalization is just one of those things you go off by default. So you treat something like magic and chakra the same thing. And the thing about Natsu that's really unfair is he's shown against Cobra, his body doesn't need to think to keep fighting. He'll just keep fighting. And it's a really underrated trait, or it's a really undershown trait that he has that kind of screws over people like Itachi, who it's okay, I'm going to put you in an illusion that messes with your brain. It's kind of it's the same thing when I say about Satoru Gojo's expansion. Natsu should be able to keep fighting. And Natsu's really weird in that aspect, again, that he's countered so many other Hacks people. Yeah, Quan got defeated. But I don't know, Quan, if Kimano reads Build King. You can beat him to reading Build King on Wednesday. I don't know if Kimano's read it yet. Training arc coming from Boishiki. I think so too. Just some form of. I don't think it has to be long, but I am hoping to see each of the characters kind of explore the concepts of their powers. Just kind of like a part where they're each doing something involving their thing. Kind of more like a Karate Kid lesson type of style. But it leads them into kind of just understanding their powers more and then developing some techniques and just kind of getting stronger along the way. Because that's how Mishima's usually does power level increases. Like, he doesn't show a lot of the training, but like there's a lot of characters kind of experience through battle type of stuff. Because that's a lot what Black Clover does a lot as well. Watch Quan whip out 100. Quan would have to dip into his stocks, and you know he would have to call his his butler for that, or his accountant, one of his people, definitely for sure. Yeah, energy equalization is a normal thing. That's just one. It's like I talked about this earlier with Broku. It's like if you wanted to have Rill fight without his character trait, you bring up they're not in character, but the fight assumption is that they're in character. But if you stayed out of character, it's kind of like if you wanted to say energy not equalized or something. It's just one of those kind of, but it's obviously way more common because you can get by annoying character traits. I don't even know what Red Eagle's talking about now. Should do a character video on Shiki. I might. Quan, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do a video. I just thought it would be super easy. Arc Smiley says it's an interesting concept. My favorite character in Fairy Tail. How dirty you hate on it. Wait, somebody's hating on who? On Jalal? Or Gray? Because Gray and Jalal are both awesome. Does nobody like my idea? I don't know. I don't really do editing or anything. I like the idea we need some slides pictures. So what I was going to do is I was going to have it like, because you can do body motions with the character in game. So I was going to do that with my guy and then motion to like stuff and then just kind of edit the pictures in. I needed to do my own brand of laziness. OC characters want to cause Universal Genocide. Hero Squad are visiting Ruby. So it's going to go to other series? That's pretty wild. Yeah, but let me know, Rax, and let me know. That's how me and Rax usually debate. Oh, I'm telling you what would happen. Like, Natsu's ridiculous like that. He's got a lot of counters. Who would win, Shiki or Natsu? Natsu would body Shiki. He outclasses him in everything. Natsu is absurdly powerful, and he's still getting really strong. Like, he's going up to Acnologia tier soon. Well, I mean, like, soon in the chapter numbers, but, like, still in the story, it'll be a while. They do need to make more good Black Clover figures, 100%. 100% agree on that. Chapter 1 Shiki beats Chapter 1 Natsu. That is true. I would probably agree on that. But, like, Natsu just goes at a higher pace. Because Shiki, I've mentioned Shiki's is more on the flexibility on his power. And his own kind of, like, how the way he moves, like, how agile he is. Where Natsu has a much higher power climb. Like, imagine putting Overdrive Shiki, the one against Rakunjo, against Dragon Force Natsu from Tower of Heaven. Natsu would body the fuck out of him. He would just smash him into the ground. Because Natsu's thing is he's high offense. He's like an assault. High offense, high defense. He's like directly in the fight. Haru was utility in combination with him. Haru is like a battle version of Lucy. Whereas Shiki's thing has been more in like the flexibility of his gravity and how agile he is. Like how fast and nimble he is in fights. That's why I want him to have wormholes instead of black holes. Is because then it's more of how like quick he can move and how hard he is to hit, rather than just like giving him a really hacked OP ability. Natsu beat Divinity out of Fairy Heart Reserve. Yeah, Natsu's a monster. How many chapters will Eden Zero have? I don't know. Mishima said that he didn't plan for Eden Zero to be as long as Fairy Tail, but that could change. Who knows with him? Like he's definitely a guy that like it just kind of spawn ideas and then kind of go off of them and do a lot of fun stuff with them. Who would win, Asta versus Urza? Urza would put Asta in the dirt. Why would you do that? Asta would like Urza though. They would get along. I think he would really like her because he's like to Asta it'd be like knowing Marileona, but on a swordsmanship level, and she's not a psycho. Because the funny thing about Mereoleona, because I always think of the part when Asta is like really impressed by Mereoleona when Mereoleona was fighting Raya. I always really liked that part because it was really cool from Asta's standpoint of just seeing somebody way higher up on the food chain than him in his climb to be Wizard King. And with the idea of Asta though, knowing Mereoleona, she's crazy, so she'd be dangerous to even associate with. Whereas if you knew Urza, for the most part, Urza would be really nice. She's acts, if you just talk to her, she'd be very proper, she'd be very friendly. If you went up to Mereoleona and asked her to train, she'd probably put you in a death situation. Urza would as well, but it would be in a much nicer situation. She wouldn't throw you in a volcano. She would probably just okay, let's do swordsmanship, but she would probably not hold back as well. She's a much safer person to be around. Eden Zero versus Guardians of the Galaxy? The movie Guardians of the Galaxy or the comic books? Because I know those are different things. Darth Vader versus Shiki? Darth Vader should be way faster than Shiki, and he has a lightsaber. Quan plays ADC or support. I always say, my idea of Quan is Smite Kabrakan, where he's just this gigantic support tank monster shield dude. And you know what's funny? Is I've said that so many times before. I always like Kabrakan because the idea of somebody dual-wielding shields, you essentially have two amazing defense items that if you're stronger, you have two giant blunt weapons to smash into somebody. So if you're stronger, a shield is a blunt weapon. You just have to body somebody with it. It's not like having a shield means you're only defense. You just have to get physically really strong. Shiki has ways around Darth Vader, but Darth Vader is just so fast. Oh, he's fast reactions, I guess. Shiki, I guess, could just levitate him and throw him into space. League of Lost. Yeah, they're, they're not, first off, they're not done. But, Shigaraki looks like he's in a little bit of a down position. Sherpa Zaidner would want to make LC's at least. Yeah, so he's in a bad spot because LC is around. There's no way that he's strong enough that he could take Ziggy, Ziggy, Justice, and Elsie all at the same time. He has to be careful. There's people his level around there, but he still has his military size. I think he's going to be fighting Ziggy. I still think it's going to be Shiki versus Shura and Ziggy versus Nero. I think that's how the arc's going to go. I play Hearthstone. You're into Hearthstone? I haven't played any MOBA games in a while. I'd like to get in some. I just got tired of League of Legends. It has such a bad community, and I stopped spending money on it. They also I got mad because they kept making skins of characters I liked, and it was all just the ones that are really popular that sell a lot of just sell a lot of skins. So that bothered me too. So I didn't even have that to kind of keep me attached. So mostly just been World of Warcraft, and then after that I'm gonna get back into Demon's Souls. But I don't know. I might try and get into Heroes of the Storm, but I don't think that game's very popular. I might try something. Hearthstone though, I could play Quan at Hearthstone. He'll probably beat me though. How many chapters will beat for 100 Years Quest? I don't know. It's still a mystery. It's still a huge mystery. Walk through last season is very confusing. Hope the season will be better. Oh, yeah, this is supposed to be. Well, it ended really confusing, and I think it was on purpose to kind of try and get a cliffhanger big enough for the final season, because it was the final season was done through Kickstarter. It raised over $1 million, so I'm really hoping that it looks great. I'm excited for it. I don't know if you've seen the trailer. I used to play League for a while. I can't play League anymore. For the most part, Rax, I love how it is. Wait, what Quan? I don't know what you're talking about. The Ezreal have anime only arcs. Maybe if the anime is really successful and they get a lot more, I think it might have some anime only stuff. But I don't know about anime only arcs, because usually anime only arcs are for weekly anime. There's generally not a lot of long fillers if it's like a seasonal show. I can't really think of many, at least off the top of my head. What did I play that was mid, Quan? Shot at a bigger fan base and realized that she has a really big fan base. Oh, playing League of Legends solo for scrubs. I don't know. I didn't have a good time playing League in the end. It makes me really mad. The two games that make me maddest in the world are League of Legends and Minecraft. Something about those games just make me furious. But I think with League, it's the community. Makes me furious. I think the thing is, if I'm having a bad time in World of Warcraft, I can just leave. I can just leave and do something else. If you're having a bad game in League and depending on how bad it is, but it can vary, but you're stuck there. And that's one of the things I hated about League in general. And then the community were awful, so you just had bad games all the time. How do I think Justice and Elsie will end? I think their people have to drag them out. I think Creed and Victory are gonna show up to save Elsie or Justice, and I think Gowan and Hyoga are gonna show up to save Elsie. I think they're gonna have to pull them apart from each other so they don't murder each other in this whole setup, because they don't want them to die. Frieza begs, tries to kill me later. Frieza's okay. Or is this just Jalal? Sort of. Rex sounds cool. Something cool at Sky. But there's barely anyone at my school that liked anime and manga like I do. At least are not weird. I keep my love for manga and the genre low. See, what's funny is I don't mind talking about it that much to people. I didn't talk about it much in high school because I had an unfortunate situation where I had an anime club where it was all the stereotypical anime nerds, and I'm pretty nerdy, but I think I'm pretty good at hiding it for the most part. I think the only if you talk to me, you can tell I'm pretty nerdy, but I don't come off as as super stereotypical nerd. I think in general conversation or appearance, because I think I dress okay, but it was embarrassing. But I got one friend that moved right before my freshman year, who I was friends with, that was cool, that was kind of in the same situation. We talked about anime, and then I made more friends that liked anime and stuff. And now it's popular. It used to be made fun of. It used to get made fun of for an anime. What happened? And all these mainstream people. Great. Fight off Mirror Jane, Elfman, at least on at the same time. Yeah, he absolutely can. Gray can, if Gray can fight Aetherius Natsu, he can fight Mira Jane, Elfman, and Lisana. Come on. Lucy only has trouble with Mira Jane because Lucy isn't a powerhouse character. She's a utility character. And she was trying out something new instead of just using or if she busted out Gemini and used Uranometria, she would have destroyed her. Wait, what is this? Do you think Master Noah go evil? I think he's super suspicious still. I still don't trust him. Yeah, I love Greg. Greg is cool. Tonkachi, I really like Tonkachi. I can't wait for Quan's stream. I mentioned it before. I'm hoping he notices what I mean, but when I say that Tonkachi reminds me of a Kid Goku early Luffy. Gray vs. Race was a go to fight. That was a really good fight. I really like some of the early Gray fights. That was the frustrating thing for me though is, I've mentioned before, I really like archery Gray. I like Gray with the bow and arrow. That's why, is branching away from the bow and arrow, and I miss it so much. I'm hoping one of his forms has a bow and arrow. Makes me sad. Where was I? How do you burn infinity? Here's the thing. Natsu's burnt infinity. Because Natsu's reached Planck temperatures, if you wanted to get in the conceptual aspect of things. But Natsu's also burned spatial magic. Because when Genesis Zero hit Natsu, it wrapped him entirely and put him in another dimension. And Natsu burnt his way out of it. He burnt the entire spatial ability. Like I said, Quant, one of the things that makes Natsu so dangerous is he has counters to so many of these other hacks abilities. Natsu beats Gojo, and then if you want to get anything above Savage Dragonfire Natsu, he just burns right through that. Natsu's ridiculous, because the thing that is really overlooked when it comes to looking at Natsu's power level large scale, considering the series is still going, is E&D was the only thing Acnologia was ever cautious of. It was the only thing he was ever cautious of when he showed up to destroy it in Tartaros. It's the only thing he ever saw as a potential threat to him. I'll debate you this on stream, Quan. I'm serious. Ippo's best sports series. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the best sports series there, Quan. Megalobox. It sucked? I thought... Orihime claps Lucy? No, she doesn't. Stop. Yeah, Fragile is a good character. I like Fragile. Sally is cool, but Noelle is so much better, Quan. What are you doing? Gray versus Laxus? Yeah, I'd say Laxus is still stronger. Because I think outside of... I think if you look at Fairy Tail's power level rankings, it's... Number one is Guild Arts. It goes Guild Arts, Laxus, Natsu. But I think with Natsu, with Dragon Force, he's more powerful than Guild Arts. But it's a limited time power-up, not whereas Guild Arts is just his general strength. I think Natsu's going to surpass it for sure soon, but like outright and everything. But I just think he's still, for the scope of things, Guild Arts and Laxus are above him. So I don't think that Gray can take Laxus. Maybe by the end of the story, but we got to see. There's the Tonkatsu comet. Good. Gray. The Gray love. People are hating on Quan. You know what? Hang on. Where's Quan? Where's Quan's post? Add moderator. Quan is now a moderator. Is for no related to Becca? I hope not. Maybe he knows some of the secrets about her. Like a spy on her case. But other than that, I don't know. I'm not obsessed with Gray's feats. What are you talking about? Feats! Like physical prowess feats. Like a battle feats. You're ridiculous. Seeing as how badly Shiki did against Justice, how bad Shiki do in this Tower of Heaven Jalal. Shiki would get his... let me think. Yeah, Shiki would still lose. Shiki would still get his ass kind of kicked. I don't think it would be as bad as Natsu did at the time, but Shiki still loses. But if you compared Overdrive Shiki to Dragon Force Natsu in the Tower of Heaven art, that Natsu definitely bodies the shit out of any Shiki right now. That one is ridiculous just in raw physical strength. He blew apart that whole portion of the tower. And he was blitzing Meteor Jalal. Like, he was ridiculous. Yeah, everyone knows that's... Noah's definitely suspect. Quan's not mid. Quan is just misguided in some ways. I'm trying to help him. Quan just has a couple things he's put in a different context. You should read Build King Kanmon. It's cool. I really like it. I think people will enjoy it. They just gotta give it a try. Yeah, Gojo legitimately can't take Natsu. Natsu's ridiculous. Natsu is super hacks on top of having a really high power level, on top of being really fast, on top of having a lot of experience against other hacks people. Natsu's ridiculous. That's one of the dangerous things about Natsu is he's got a lot of experience under his belt. Like, on top of all these other, like, crazy things about his powers. Let me kind of scroll down. Talk about the Natsu Gojo stuff. Boy, Laguna got all his girls wet. I'm pretty sure Laguna's gay. I think he's, like, freed. Am I finally caught up? I'm finally caught up. Virgin Rebecca chatted more. Rebecca's cool, too. I think he's around 500 chapters. I'm pretty cool if it's something around that. You know, I'm fine with any number as long as it plays out well. Because that was one of the things about, like, Fairy Tales. Mishima didn't want to end it there because he didn't think that... Like, he didn't have an idea for an ending because he didn't want it to end. He kept coming up with ideas after... after Alvarez. Because when he started Tartarus originally, that was when he said, okay, this is the second to last arc. And then while doing Alvarez, he's like, no, I want to do more. Because he's like, I don't really know how I want to end it. And then came up with... and probably while thinking of an ending, came up with a bunch of new content. He just wasn't really sure, like, what to do, because I'm pretty sure when he's thought to end it, it was kind of just an abrupt idea that he decided, and he just probably wasn't thinking it out. That's my guess. That's always been kind of, like, my guess right now. Gene is on the road to... It says, do I deserve a mod for Quant? You are on the road for it. You are definitely the road for it, Gene. Gene, are you caught up on Build King? If you're caught up on Build King, I'll make you a mod. Gray is definitely strong. I think Gray is stronger than Urza right now. The problem is Gray just hasn't shown his power up yet. Because Gray was stronger in Alvarez. The problem right now is that Gray hasn't gotten, like, a big showing of, like, where he's at this, like, in 100 Years Quest. Whereas Urza almost beat Laxus, and that was obviously, like, a big showing for her. Gray just hasn't got anything in 100 Years Quest yet. It's unfortunate. It's frustrating, though. Let's see. Bleach is like that if you're stronger at nullifying the hack, so like a person. Yeah, but Bleach is like an outright. So it's kind of like Brandish. Brandish's magic is one of those ones. Not all magic and curses, though, in Fairy Tail follow that concept, but there are those that do. And it's like if you just have a general higher energy, like total energy level. Like in Bleach, you can nullify certain things if you have a higher level of Ryatsu, of spiritual pressure. Where it's like there are certain hacks of like Brandish. If you just have way more magic than her, she can't affect you. That's kind of how it is in Bleach, though, at like a larger power sense, because Bleach is all dependent on that property of like a power level hierarchy when it comes to spiritual pressure. What's the best fight in Eden Zero so far? Probably the Drac and Joe fight. I'd say I thought that fight was really good, just because it had multiple phases, and then like the stuff with Weiss showing up, the power up at the end. It was really cool. I don't do this. I don't do that in my or Josuke stream, so I'm definitely not going to do that here. What is Josuke gonna do? Josuke doesn't abuse power. Josuke I think has against Carrot, but that's well deserved. With Quan, you can trust Quan. Quan's only sometimes got a couple bad takes. He's a nice guy though. Quan's a really nice person. Boruto new chapter was trash. Have I read it yet? I don't even remember what happened. I need to reread it. I meant to reread it the other day. My fanfic I'm reading, Bakugo calms Todoroki down, all for one, knowing they aren't strong enough to beat him. Character development is strong. You're gonna go crazy in your fanfic. Wait, what am I looking at? Oh, never mind. I saw a picture right when I said that, and I was so confused at a chapter right when you're talking about your fanfic. Sasuke is not having a good time. Yeah, I'm working on my story. I've been talking to one of my friends. He hasn't been online today. I had some questions for him. But, yeah, other than that, I've been working on my stuff too. So good on you, man. Sasuke got Vegeta. He kind of did, to be perfectly honest. It's just that Momoshiki is really powerful. And he was a surprise really powerful guy. It's unfortunate for Sasuke. But he's definitely in a Vegeta mood right now. Feel bad for him, man. Is Rebecca a refugee from Kaide Cosmos? I think she has to do. I kind of want her to be from the Sakura Cosmos and be from like developed in some form of like somebody found her that was like a runaway from another cosmos and gave her Cat Leaper or something. I don't know. What do you think about Kishimoto's return? Is he coming back again? Did he announce anything new? I kind of liked Samurai 8. I thought it was interesting, but I can definitely see why it didn't do too well. Because one of the things about Samurai 8 that was really bad was how slow it was paced. It had a horrible pacing. Because it started out so slow, and then like when it got to stuff after that point where it was like, okay, we're going to get into like the actual story, it started to go super fast. I'm looking for the charging cable. There it is for my headset. Yeah, so it... To me, I think that the part of the problem for Samurai 8 that you can see in Eden Zero is just some of the styles of pacing and how much you throw at an author or at a person. Like, how much information are they reading in one chapter? How much do they have to memorize in one chapter that isn't, like, visually shown or something that's going to be relevant right away? And like I said, Build King, if you look at the Build King chapter, there's a part that there's a scene that there's an arcway. Let me show you. Let me get the panel and see what I mean. Where's the Build King chapter? Build King chapter 6. It's a really good example of what I'm talking about in regards to the author being an experienced like manga creator versus like where you could run into like a newer one. So let me pull this up right quick. I'm getting quick and precise this one. I've got to make my point. I keep forgetting that overall this is the Build King agenda stream. Let me crop this picture, save it. It should save it. It should switch it in the stream. There we go. So in where's the thing? In Build King, there's a castle that's like on the underside of a cliff, as you can see kind of like where it is, and there's a pathway, you can just kind of see it, that loops over the side of a cliff. And while they're doing it, this girl that lives in the castle, she brings up these gecko shoes, gecko tabby, like gecko shoes, obviously. I think it's tabby because I think that's what it is for Japanese, like the type of shoe that it is. But it's essentially like a pair of shoes. and it lets you walk on like vertical platforms, so you can walk, or horizontal platforms and vertical platforms rather, so you can walk on the ceilings or walls, and he's showing it visually. He's using easy wording. It's also, you don't have to go into further description. You get a full idea of this thing, the super simple object, in just kind of one panel, and then see it implemented in the chapter. It's just one of those things I think is really well done, that shows to avoid info dumping on a reader. Because the only time that people like getting info dumping chapters is when it's lore, like big world stuff. Like, if you get like a big world kind of like crazy chapter, it's like awesome, but it's like, okay, we're gonna just talk about power level systems, or we're going to talk about the descriptions of these items or something. It can be kind of cool to some people, but it can be kind of just too much and too boring for others. But it's like it goes super quick, and I think that's one of the things that I really like about Build King. I think people should really give more of a chance. Also, that the art and the world building is really cool. I'm just gonna talk a little bit about it. Listen, I didn't even spoil too much. The Build King agenda is still going strong. There's a lot to show. There's gonna be a lot more coming up. New chapter next week. It hasn't gotten spoiled yet. There's no spoilers out yet, so it's still a mystery. I'm hoping for a monster fight. Yeah, there's 7 Cosmos in Eden Zero. We've got the Kaede Cosmos, the Ale Cosmo, and the Sakura Cosmo. Luck and Charlotte are brother. That'll be a really weird plot twist, because it's one of those ones that I could see happening, but it'd be really weird. Rax was one of the... It's not like I was a Samurai 8 fan, but I read it and I kind of liked it, because I thought some of the visuals were cool. Like, you had these samurai... You had, like, samurai Amaterasu space bodies that were cutting meteors in half. It was just really cool visually. And I kind of liked some of the concepts, but it gave you a lot of information really fast. And part of the issue with that was, Kishimoto took like what should have been chapter 1 and stretched it to 16 chapters. Like, what is like the main character establishing like their goal and kind of what the story is. It took a long time to get Samurai 8 going. I think by chapter 16, a lot of people were already turned off by it, and then it just kept going. Then it just went so fast that a lot of the people that weren't like really dedicated to the series, just kind of like died off. It was really weird what happened to it. And it's probably one of the biggest manga anomalies I've ever seen, because I don't think anybody saw Kishimoto fumbling the series that hard. Yeah, I'm planning on making my own series, Gene. I don't know if it'll be ever produced, like I'll ever write it out or ever get like a manga or comic of it. But I do like to think about it and kind of like write out a story in my head, because regardless if I ever do anything with it, it does pass time, and I do like kind of just like creating things and ideas. I've been watching a lot of monster videos and like guys like this guy explaining like monsters in like D&D and like different realms and stuff, just to kind of get ideas. I've got a base idea right now, but I'm trying to expand it and kind of like build a lot of extra components to it. So it is just one of those fun things I feel like a lot of nerds just have, is they have their own ideas after, you see so much different kinds of mediums. Hoping to get strong healing. I'm good for that Renegade. I don't need it. I think Jaguar. Jaguar, I think, is the one that I want to see the most besides Justice, but we already got Justice, so Jaguar's next. Just because I think he looks cool as hell. Do I think Sasuke's Renegade will return? I don't know. Like, that's kind of the thing, because you could transfer eyes, so it's like the eye itself. I'm sure they have healing stuff that could, that could potentially fix it, but I legitimately have no idea. I don't know enough about Naruto's kind of like lore to know what it is. What's Build King about? So like the base about Build King, it's like the world itself is really dangerous. Like imagine kind of like I was gonna use the gourmet world, but I assume you haven't read Toriko. It's like living in a world full of monsters, and then like the weather and the environment, like the biomes, everything is crazy and dangerous. And so like you have the whole concept is like the way that people fight back against nature and like are able to live are buildings, like homes. It's kind of like just how like you go to your home. It's like your base. It's where you live out of. because humans, like us versus like the elements and stuff, is actually really bad. We're very bad at general survival in nature without human innovation and invention and stuff. But like the people, because there's so many monsters and stuff that you like, there are people that have like kind of power levels because they're fighting like monsters and stuff. Like the main character so far, he isn't good at carpentry. He talks about how like his saying is he wants to build peace. So instead of being good at building houses, he got good at being strong so he can fight these monsters. And I think it's going to be really shown in the next couple chapters because there's been said to be monsters at the site they're at, and they're trying to like, they have a job to renovate this castle, and I'm guessing the main character is going to fight some of these monsters that come to attack him. And it's really weird in concept, but it's like this going to be this action adventure series, and they describe it in the beginning. The thing that I think is going to be really cool is they mention a lot of like historical buildings and like lores and stuff. Kind of think about like if you think about any series, any legendary building or castle or whatnot, you know, somebody made them, and it centers around these people also that make all these crazy buildings and like mythical lands. And like one of them is like they say like the prison of the underworld. So like imagine meeting the guy who built hell, because is it Tartarus? Is he the guy also that built the prison in there? I'd have to go back and look at it, but I know that he's important in the lore for like Greeks and stuff. But like imagine a series like dedicated to people like that, but it's also a battle shonen. It's really weird in concept, but it's got a lot of potential, and I'm really hyped for it. I just need to get more people to, you know, jump on board. Konohamaru is unfortunate. He's got a couple things. If you like Build King, may I suggest Legos? I mean, it's got the building thing. Like I said, it's weird in concept, but it's really cool. You should read it. I think you should give it a try. Old Jake Miller kind of coming. What's up, Jake? Opinions Rack. So Shura. That's a weird one, though, because they haven't even met. That's such a weird... What is Phantom Seer about? Phantom Seer is like an Exorcist style. Like, they're fighting phantoms that, like, possess people and, you know, do bad stuff. Kind of think like Jujutsu Kaisen or Bleach. Old Quan just chilling, hanging out. Is Sheldon still sleeping? It's like, I keep tabs on people's pets. Quan knows of my ability to remember people's pets' names. And I know Sheldon's been sleeping because obviously it's like winter time. And it's like the equivalent of what turtles do when they're hibernating. It has a different name, but it's pretty much the same thing as hibernation. And I remember him telling me that. And she's been sleeping a lot. I was going to tell him, like, I got in a conversation with someone today. There's a couple people like I talked to about just kind of like their pets, and that's like I was talking about like just because people usually obviously like that love their pets. You should get them something for Christmas, and just as like a gift, I got my cat some stuff. But like one of the things I got him is I got him like this little bubble machine because I thought they'd really like it. But what the weird thing is, it's kind of like I've gotten my cat's toys. Some of them they don't like. There's this one that they love. It's like this cloth. It's literally like this cloth rope on a stick. It's like the stretchy cloth on a stick. They're upset. One of my cats love it, but one of my cats is obsessed with it. And oh god, where was I going with this story? And I got them this bubble machine, and they don't really seem to. They seem kind of cautious of it, like they think it's alive. But I got them also this bread pillow for a while ago, and they like to sleep on it. They really like this pillow that looks like a piece of toast. I just thought that was a really funny thing. I woke up, my cat was really, he doesn't usually hold still. He's usually off somewhere, sleeping in some different spot. And he really likes that bread pillow. He'd leave and then come back to it. And then if he was off there long enough, one of my other cats would take it. They really like this bread pillow. I don't know what it is. I was thinking about getting them a hot dog pillow next and see if they just like bread. Because for a while I got into baking bread and I just haven't done it enough lately. But I think I'm going to do some tonight or tomorrow. I want to get back into it. I think it's because I thought I didn't know other people were doing this. Like when COVID started and people went in quarantine, I know a lot of people tried to make sourdough. And I was trying to do it too, but I think that I just kind of like jumped to too high of a type of bread to make. And I should have started lower. Because for the most part, other than that, I kind of just made normal bread. But I got to get back to making some breads. Ooh, that person I was telling you about, like she's a friend of my family. She's a friend of my family. She's my cousin's wife. And she knows the recipe for those garlic rolls. I got to find out her bread recipe at some point. If I can learn how to do that, I'll be so happy. But I got to be careful because I used to be in really good shape, but I used to be actually really toned because did sports throughout through high school, but I kind of just have like an average build now. And I gotta watch. I always gotta watch myself that I gotta not put on too much weight. But I that would be one of like the big things that I would consume en masse to make me fat. Like I love those and breaded. That'd be amazing. We didn't mind a rack stream that lasts till 2 a.m. To be honest, I that's what I'm told. I've actually gotten a lot of mixed feelings. Like usually people really like just hearing me talk, or they don't like my voice. But it is a curse that I like to talk a lot, and I don't like silence. Unless I'm trying to sleep, I don't really like silence. I always like something that happens. Even when I'm sleeping, I like to have something in the background. I usually put a show on to listen to as I go to bed. I don't like the dead silence. So whenever I'm hanging out with people, usually I'm trying to have a conversation. I was gonna say like Quan, some of the people Quan has been here for a while. It's funny because I mentioned that usually I'm pretty active in other people's streams when I go to other people's streams, and sometimes people will pop in, but I feel like I just talk a lot. And Quan, I didn't expect Quan to still be here. He's been here a long time. I was heckling him for not being like in my streams, and he's been here for a while. But Quan knows if I start talking about something, I'll go for a while. Like, if we're in a good conversation, I'm not going to stop. Unless I realize that I have to go to bed for work, the only way to get out of the conversation is to end the conversation. Because I'll just keep going. I can't help it. I just love chatting with people. Yeah, I just don't like the silence. It's just awkward. It just. I think it also makes things more boring. I think it kind of brings out the staleness sometimes if you're not like looking at something. Like if it's like silence, like say like not that long ago when I was at work, there was a coyote nearby and we kind of got quiet because we wanted to watch it to kind of just do stuff, or something like that where it's like you're quiet for a reason, where it's just dead silence just to be quiet. And unless some people are trying to sleep, like I don't really like it. Dogging. So I love dogs and cats. So I grew up with dogs. So I remember when I was really little, we had cats too, but our cats, bad stuff always happens to our cats. They would disappear. We had a neighbor steal one of our cats. I'm pretty sure a neighbor stole one of our cats later in life too. But we used to have cats too, and then for a while we just had dogs. But I was always somebody who had lots of pets. Like there was a time we had 4 dogs. That was fun. But I've always had a lot of pets. Like even now, my parents had 2 dogs, and then they recently got a cat, but they were only gonna have 1 cat. But they kind of got in a situation where it was either someone needs to take this cat or it's gonna go to the pound. So they kind of just took it because they usually have 2 cats, and they felt bad because one of them died, and they wanted them to have a friend. So it's like he's always not. So just so they always have someone to hang out with. They actually get along now, which is good. They're friends. But I've always been somebody who has a lot of pets. And I wanted to get a dog, but I think with my lifestyle, I was like, I work a lot, and then I don't like to be very active in the meantime, like when I'm in my chill hours. I like to kind of just hang out and chill. I like to go out and do stuff on occasion. I like it to be more planned. Like, I'd be willing to go out and do, like, a fun activity, but I don't just do that to do it. Like, I plan it. It's like an event for me. I'm just not a very active guy. But, oh, God, where was I going with this story? So I get sidetracked a lot. Crap, where was I going with this story? I think I was just talking about like me just going out and do stuff. Yeah, I just don't like to do a lot. So I like to chill. So I feel like most people either like kind of hanging out with me, some like just in a chill manner of the streams. I'm not as crazy as some of these other guys. I'm more of just kind of hanging out, having a conversation. I think the music helps too. I do love other people's pets. I like hearing other people's pet stories. Do you think Shiki has parents? The Shiki's origin is so weird. I feel like it's going to be complicated. I feel like because of the thing with Mother that he was like a planet or something and he was reborn as a person. Oh, I mean, of course we're going to get Shiki's backstory. you expect from the last 100 years? Wait, what do you expect from the last? Wait, what do you expect from the last 100 years? Question. Dean, the next one, the next chapter's tomorrow. When Heroes gets an anime, do you think it'll show Haru with the Revolt Nods Driving Force and Shiki's Overdrive? I hope so. That was kind of weird that Haru had Revolt out, but Natsu wasn't even a Dragon Force, and Shiki was in like his normal Ether Gear state. It's kind of weird to make it kind of Wait, but Gene, did you say you've read Build King yet? If you've read Build King, I'll make you mod. If you live alone, having a cat is better. So, yeah, but so like I've always used to having multiple pets, so I decided to get more. And the second cat I kind of got my first cat was sad when I wasn't there. She would sleep by the door. She's actually here. She's sleeping next to my keyboard right now. But I would get home and she'd be sleeping by the door because I was the only person that she knew. So she would get really lonely and then just wait for me to come home. And I felt really bad about that. And then I went and got my other cat. And I only got this third cat because I don't know. I wanted one more. I think it's because I grew up with 3 dogs. I really wanted to have 3 pets. But I didn't have the time to take care of a dog, so I just got another cat. I am planning to get some aquatic pets. I want to get a mantis shrimp, and then I was showing Quan I want to get a velvet worm, which is this cool like little predatory worm that shoots glue. How do you think Eden's Zero will end? I'm hoping it's kind of like just a really fun kind of like adventurous and like old man Shiki telling a story to somebody. I'm like the spooky house, like that's in a lot of the movies, but I'm kind of like the old guy in Sandlot, where it's just all a misunderstanding. I'm actually really nice, and my pets aren't bad. I woke my cat up when I pet her. She's just sitting here looking at me. Hi, Gendora. Go back to sleep. Yeah, I think we'll get a good Ziggy backstory too. Again, it's like Ziggy. Who built Ziggy is such a big question that it's like we have nothing for. Because it's not like Ziggy had parents and then something made him like this. He was built. It's such a weird concept for this like whole series to kind of be building around. I've read the first couple panels. If you read the first chapter, I'll give you mod, Gene. I just hope for everyone that died in My Hero War didn't die for nothing. The weird thing about like the My Hero characters, it's like there wasn't a lot of big characters that died. I think all of them were kind of like super side characters, and then I don't know if it's been, I don't want to spoil it, but it says one of them was surprising, but it's kind of, it can only be important if it's played right. Chicken Lord kept a kitten I rescued, best roommate ever. Yeah, I like cats. I really like dogs too. It's just that I have more cats. You just busted a nut. The problem that I realize like though with dogs is, when I brought up I wanted to get a dog, I think my mom thought of, you know, the amount of time I spend just doing stuff. Thought of me getting like a small dog, and I was like, I'm not getting a small dog. If I get a dog, I like big dogs. Like I like cats, but I like big ass dogs. I like big monstrous hounds. Like I want to get one of those Russian bear dogs, and I just want a massive animal, and I didn't have enough time to take care of it, so I was kind of like, not for right now. Maybe later in the future. Tokachi built Ziggy. That, you know what? It's probably why he's faulty. It could make sense. Tokachi, you know, I actually really hoping to see what kind of build kings there are, because they've all been really crazy so far. Some of this, the general ideas that this author is going to have is then some of the most fun parts of the series. And once people get to chapter 6, because the castle was such a perfect example of that. Fine, I'll give you mod there, Gene. Here you go. You like My Hero? I like My Hero, but My Hero to me is kind of like my opinion on One Piece, where I like it, but I'm not really hyped about it. I kind of just read it because it's somebody I can read and kind of just go like, okay, cool. Sometimes I get a little hyped, but it's not like something I get really hyped for, like Fairy Tail, Chainsaw Man, Eden Zero, Black Clover. I get more hyped for Jujutsu Kaisen too. What region in the U.S. am I from? Oh, I'm from the West. I'm like a cowboy. Not really, though. The pro heroes dying equal to impact the massacre of the Golden Dawn. Pretty honest. I mean, I'm not going to argue with that one, but pretty much. Tell the show to jump out, read it now. It's good. Look at that. Look at that. You hold a special title. You have a specific merit badge. That's an achievement unlocked. Do I like Bleach? Yeah, I love Bleach. I've mentioned before I really like Bleach. Bleach, I'd say, is my favorite out of the original, kind of in that big 3 category. I really liked Bleach. I thought it was really fun. I think the characters are good. There's definitely some parts where you can tell Kubo is rushing, but I think overall Bleach is definitely really good. Yeah, I'd say. I'm typing somebody and I don't want to get distracted. There we go. Gotta unmod Gene now. No, hang on. Gene said he's gonna read Build King though. I need more people on the train. Will the anime do villain? Oh wait, will you do an anime villains tier list? I don't know. Maybe I did a villain list. Didn't I already do a villain tier list already? Fair, so we have a living machine such as Walt. Yeah, that's what I've been saying to people. Like, there's tech. Jenny and Walt are definitely dangerous for Eden Zero for the machine aspect. Started reading more North Korean manga. Oh, the Korean series. I don't know. I've read a couple. There's only a couple I've liked. Reading Bill King now, Jake Miller. I'm glad it's good. Listen, like I said, when you read it, like think of like the main character. I've said before, he's got these really classic vibes, like young Luffy Kid Goku. He's got a cool hammer. He's really friendly. People are gonna like it. I like Fairy Tail way more than Naruto and Bleach. It's my favorite for sure. Shinkai's power is a bit jealous of something. He was all the power in the world. Nothing is more powerful than the heart need to guide it. He's just a big yelling guy. Big high energy. Build King train derailing. No, the Build King hype is going. Liz, I've got Jake Miller on board. Gene's gonna read it. Quan's reading on Wednesday. You better read it, Iron Nancy. It's good. You gotta get the mod ship from JCloud. What you have to do with Jay? What would be the best way to bribe Jay? Talk about Leo. He likes Leopold. He thinks Leopold is really underrated. Let's talk about how much you like Leo. Maybe you'll get on his good side. Is the Snyder Cut, when does it come out? Did they give a date yet? Because I haven't watched it, but I'm going to watch it. I don't need to go, I'm not going to go into a series analysis. I have so many videos, obviously, throughout my channel of talking about how much I love Fairy Tail and why it's my favorite. And we're almost 3 hours into this. I thought he liked Leo. Dang it. Well, don't talk about Leo then, Gene. Yeah, Gene is like a unicorn at streaming too, so it's even rarer. He's like a Suicune. There you go. I just titled JCloud. He's like the Suicune of Annie Twitter that does videos and stuff. I got you for streams. You can only find him in set locations like his videos and clues where he's been. Plant powers, Black Clover's power better than expected. The Briar Magic? I was gonna say, like, general plant powers, we don't have anything that good, but except for Briar Magic. I don't think I have any, like, general plant mages. I was gonna say, Fades doesn't stream. Fades doesn't have a channel. March? I'm gonna watch that for sure. I think it'll be better. A lot of the awkward parts in Justice League that really kind of hurt the movie, I think, were from the parts that Joss Whedon put in. Man, Leo's not trash. People are gonna give Leo more credit at some point. I just gotta wait. He's like Magna. He's just such an easy target. The only way right now there can be a bigger target is if Rill was, if they said, hey Rill, we need you to be a temporary leader of the Golden Dawn. He put on a Golden Dawn robe. That's the only bigger target right now than some of these characters. You need an overwhelmingly big target. The Master Builder looks like Yamcha. He's got the hair. Talking about the one when it showed him from, are you talking about Shovel, or are you talking about the one that was showed in Chapter 1 when it's talking about the Carpenters? Because that guy actually looks really cool. If you're talking about Shovel a little bit, yeah. But he's huge. That dude is massive. I think Rebecca runs like the Flash. Rebecca runs like I don't remember if it's Reverse Flash or Zoom, but she runs fast not through like general I run fast ability. She runs fast through time manipulation. Time manipulation, kind of like how Julius does it, but she's running while doing it. Natsu's not turning into fire. Like Natsu doesn't need it. Like Laxus barely does it anymore too. Gajil's is also a little different because his isn't like intangible. He's more just kind of like generally changing his element because this is obviously a physical element. So is Tonkachi stupid like his inspirations. He doesn't seem as dumb. He seems more like he's just kind of a young. Because they haven't given an age yet, but I'm guessing they're like somewhere around like 13, 14. Kind of, you know, like Asta. He doesn't seem as dumb as them. But he's kind of like the tier between Naruto and Asta. He's somewhere in between them, probably in intelligence, I'd say. I think of Zoom. Yeah, that guy. Because I know it's one of them. I get those two mixed up all the time. Is the scar in the same spot as Yamcha? Let me see. I haven't noticed that. If so, I never looked. Oh, is that where Yamcha's scar is? Let me see. Yamcha. Oh, let's search up Yamcha. Is that in the same spot as Scar is? It is. You know what? You know what I actually hope is he says that his inspiration for Shovel is how Yamcha feels in the video games. He's like, I wanted Yamcha, but if Yamcha was cool. Because that's the funny... I don't know how many people... I assume most people here have played some of the games. Yamcha in the games is good. Yamcha in the show, in the manga, it just sucks. Was Asta 14? No, sorry. Asta was 16, right? Yeah, Asta was... How old was Asta at the start? Asta was 16. Not 14, sorry. I don't think he was 14. Was he? No. Actually, yeah, he was. Or 15, sorry. I think he was 15. I don't really remember exactly some of the ages. But right now, there's no stated ages for the characters in Build King. Like, the only thing we know is 5 years ago, Tonkachi and Renga met Shovel, and then 3 years ago is like when he put them on their mission as carpenters, and they haven't seen him since. So, we have no known age yet. Yamcha versus... I mean, Yamcha's still powerful. Like, he's just a meme in his own universe. Luckily, I don't think there's any certifications to build for Tonkachi until maybe later. Was he 15? Do we know Shiki's age? I don't think we know Shiki's age. Is there an age for Shiki? Actually, it might on his card. I don't think it has age though. Shiki, I assumed something around 16. Man, I should eat at some point. I haven't eaten all day, and it's already 7 o'clock. I don't know why I haven't been hungry all day. I don't even know what I should make. I haven't really... I might just make some nachos. I don't know. I assume Wise is around the same age. Oh, there's no officials? That's fine. But anyway... How long have I been going? 3 hours? I'm going to end the stream. It's been going good. Thank you guys for the super chats. Jake Miller, Kamano, Quan, obviously the Quan Credible. Go check out his channel. He's Quan mostly credible. Sometimes Quan the Incorrigible, Quan Cruel, Quan Criminal, and on a rare occasion, Quan Clutchable. Obviously, check out other people's channels. RT was in here. Josuke was in here, but check out his channel. Yeah, I just, like, if I didn't want to go get food, I would keep going, but I'm hungry. I'm pretty hungry. And I do have more food I want to get. I might get that Taco Bell now, though. But anyway, other than that, though, thanks everyone for showing up. Like I said, outside of the leaks, like, we gotta wait until the 3rd to get Shonen Jump chapters. There's no Eden Zero this week. I don't think there's Eden Zero until the 15th because of freaking Crunchyroll being dumb. Oh, thank you again for the $5 super chat, Sheridan Kane. I really appreciate it. Have a good year. Yeah, you too. Quan Kindness? Quan Corruption is what I kind of go for. Or in the other term, Quan Conquistador. He's ready to destroy people. He's aggressive.
Oh shit.
That's what Quan's violent mode is called. It's like, he's got Quan, like Berserk mode to us, it's Conquistador. And he gets in like an outfit like an old conquistador, and then he attacks you. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow. I might stream one more time before the end of the year. Just because I am going to want to talk more about the fairy tale chapter. Because there's some stuff I want to go off of. And then I might try that video. Actually, real quick, because I still got some people here. What did you guys think of my video idea? If I could just have like my game character talking and then, do hand gestures. And then I could just talk over it and Photoshop the panels of like characters and stuff I talk about for like character discussions. I don't know. It's a super kind of cheat, lazy way that I could do it that kind of fits my style. Condescending, that's a good one. I got my doctorate in quantum physics. What do you guys think of that? I don't know. I don't know if it's dumb or if it sounds interesting. But it sounds like it could be kind of entertaining after implemented. What do you guys think for the people that are still here? You think I should? I don't know. I think it'll be pretty nice. And I want to talk a lot. Like, I don't want to spend hours doing the editing. I just got to figure out how to edit, just casually put the pictures on, timer coming over things for scenes. I don't know if I want to do a face reveal. I kind of like my style, though. When's the vid on Zirconis? I'll get to there. If I can get this style, if it goes as quick and easy as I think it will, then I can get through a lot of characters pretty fast. I really want to have a lot of Fairy Tail character analysis videos on my channel. Because then I also want to get into Eden Zero. I want to do Black Clover, talk about Chainsaw Man, talk about Build King. But yeah, other than that, though, read Build King. I'm hyped to talk about other stuff. Fairy Tail chapter in the morning. In less than 12 hours, there's a new Fairy Tail chapter. I'm super hyped. Get Backers, that's an old one. But yeah, other than that, though, read Build King. Comment below, subscribe if you haven't. And thanks everyone for showing up. I appreciate everyone